Peace, Lilith. What's in there? Mother Nurture in the building. Peace. In here early. Pork chops. That's good. Come on in, like the live. I got a nice live for everybody tonight. Y'all gonna love this. We're gonna be breaking down where the Psudeo-Moors stuff come from. I'm about to take y'all to the beginning of it. About to take y'all to the beginning of the Psudeo-Moors. So, appreciate y'all for tuning in, like the live, share the live. Roll it if you got it, pull it if you got it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all let me know if the live good, it ain't lagging, we straight. Y'all can hear me, the video good and everything like that. We're gonna let some more people get in here before we get started. Right now, we're gonna roll it if we got it. Y'all know how we get down. Y'all know how we get down. Peace. Come on in. Like the live, share the live. Shout out to everybody coming in. Peace. Who is that? What's happening, Tayani? Peace. Welcome to class. Thank you for the gift, too. Thank you for the gift. Definitely gonna get started in just a second. Like the live, share the live. We gonna at least get it up to like 25, maybe 30. Probably not that high. We'll probably get started as soon as I get done with my paper planes. Y'all know I gotta get my paper planes going first before we get into it. But tonight, like I said, I'm about to take y'all to the beginning, to where all this Psudeo-Moor stuff come from, all this America, Morocco, and I'm about to take y'all to the beginning with this shit, right? And a lot of folks will start to understand. A lot of folks will start to understand why I say what I say about this Moor stuff, right? Reason why I call them Psudeo-Moors, because they are, right? Not saying that Moors in history ain't real, but a lot of these people that's walking around with the feds and Negroes, them niggas not Moors. It sound good, but they not Moors, you feel me? So, without further ado, I'm about to get ready to change my background here in a second. Let me hop off camera real quick so I can get my pre-roll. Appreciate y'all. Like the live, share the live. If you're new to the page, follow the page so you can be notified every time I go live. Shout out to all the new folks, the subscribers, and everybody else, right? So we're going to be talking about where this Psudeo-Moor stuff come from. We're going to talk about where all this Psudeo-Moor stuff come from, this black Muslim movement. We're going to talk about all that type of stuff tonight. A lot of this stuff is just organizations, fabrications, Shriner, Masonic ordeals. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it ain't really no real historical stuff. So, can y'all hear me? Does it sound good? Peace. What's in there? Does it sound good? Y'all can hear me still? Cool. Hold on. Let me change my background for the topic. Let's see, where's my background for the topic? Peace. This is what we're going to be talking about, right? We're going to be getting into the book called The Princess and the Prophet. Okay? We're getting into the book called The Princess and the Prophet. want to screenshot it, go ahead. We're going to be talking about Princess and the Prophet. Princess and the Prophet. Alright, if y'all want to get it from Amazon or Google Books or anywhere you can get books, you're not going to get this off archives.org. Okay, you're not going to get this book off archives.org. Okay, thanks to the donations and everybody supporting information and gems, I had to buy this book. All right, I had to buy this book. So, and I screenshotted key points that we're going to hit on tonight. And then later on during the weeks to come, we're going to touch on the whole book. But right now for tonight as an introduction, we just going to hit on key parts. Okay. So again, shout out to all the subscribers. Shout out to all the supporters. Shout out to everybody who ever donated to the channel. Like I always told y'all, some of this information, I had to purchase it. And without y'all help, I wouldn't been able to get this to bring it to y'all. You feel me? So I can always show and prove everything. You did? So, like the live, share the live. We about to get started. My second paper plane is almost ready to be launched. I ain't trying to talk y'all ears off. What's happening, bruh man? Bruh man from the 5th floor in the building. All right. Got those situated. All right, we're going to be talking about Princess and the Prophet. Princess and the Prophet. Let me catch up in the comments real quick before we get started. Lauren said, not true, not true. What's happening, Sage Bay in the building? Why is their hair straight? I don't know what you're talking about. Why is who hair straight? Y'all got to be more descriptive when y'all ask questions. What's happening, Queen in the building? Peace, peace. Go there, what's happening? Thank y'all for the gifts. Appreciate the gifts, y'all. All right. All right. So, the reason why I tell y'all, right? The reason why I tell y'all to get this book called The Princess and the Prophet is because this book literally tells you step by step, organization by organization, peoples, places, and things of how this so-called black Muslim Moorish science temple, Nation of Islam bullshit got created, right? So just a rundown before we get into it. All this stuff was created during the World Fair Day, right? One thing about the World Fair is that what a lot of folks don't know is that the World Fair Days was, a lot of it was about reprogramming the new people that's coming to America, right? After they didn't overthrow you, destroy all the history, whitewash this, hid that, and after they did everything that we know about, right? A lot of parts of the World Fair, at least towards the end, going into the 1900s, a lot of that was used to reprogram new people that's coming into America, right? This is the beginning of a new American history, okay? So now, get the Princess and the Prophet. We're going to be inside World Fair days, World Fair times, right? So yes, a lot of this stuff happened with the World Fair, but peep game. Right, peep game, right? So let's get into it without further ado. All right, without further ado. Princess and the Prophet. Let's get into some shit. All right, let me slide my face off the camera real quick. All right, let's get into some shit. Can y'all hear me? The live good still? Good, Lilith. Cool, cool. Just had to make sure we still straight. You know, I gotta check in every now and then. All right, here we go. So it says, starting off, it says the same year that Walter Brister, right? Do anybody know who Walter Brister is? All right, Walter Brister. Do anybody know who is Walter Brister? So y'all said no. Dark Mother said no. So Walter Brister would be no. Walter Brister would later become Noble Drew Ali. All right, Walter Brister would later become Timothy Drew Ali. Okay, so the same year Brister had began, right? The same year Brister had began and banned in the hijinks and the strain on the Broadway, a very different version of black Muslims in Chicago, once that present in the facade of the Muslim world, complete with dozens of performers, right? Performers, right? We talking about World Fair, right? We talking about World Fair. We know Noble Drew Ali was inside the circus, the World Fair in Chicago, right? So they said with a dozen performers, actors, entertainers, a dozen performers who were quote unquote Negroes in American terms, right? Negroes in American terms, right? Chicago's World Columbian Exposition of 1893, right? There go your World Fair. Chicago's World Columbian Exposition of 1893 drew 27 million admissions, right? What's happening, Black First? That boy FBA, Sulani now. That shit crazy. But it drew in 27 million admissions. That's a lot of money for 1893, right? During the 6 months it was open between May and October, a figure that equivalent to 1/4 of the residents of the United States, although many of those were repeat visitors. Crowds, right? Crowds thronging to see the quote white city, unquote, of dazzling white neoclassical plaster covered buildings, right? Dodge the hijack. These buildings was made out of granite, not plaster. Dedicated to the areas of industry and human endeavors, to stall the crowds midway, pestilence, and to take in the boat parades on the man-made lagoon surrounding. Okay? But man-made lagoon surrounding. Okay? Visiting Shriners paraded, right? Visiting Shriners. What's happening, Mr. Fresh? Visiting Shriners paraded all the way from the Exposition train station, though the length of the midway and into the Turkish village. One woman observing the Shriners and Turks parade remarked that the Turks looked like Americans. When told that most of the Turks were indeed Americans, the disappointed woman told her husband that the foreigners were frauds. We're going to pause right there. Did y'all get that? Did y'all grasp what was just said? Y'all let me know if y'all grasp what was just said in these first two parts. All right? They said that these Shriners and Turks look like Americans. Well, most of them was Americans. The lady at the parade was disappointed and said that the foreigners are a fraud. What is being said here? What is being said right here, right now? All right. What is being said right here, right now? This lady was disappointed. She said that the foreigners are frauds. Right? Said the foreigners are frauds. Who is the foreigners that's pretending inside this World Fair? These are Americans, preferably black Americans, right? They said Negroes in the American terms. All right? They said Negroes in American terms. So at this World Fair exposition, you have black Americans pretending to be Turks and Shriners. Because again, the World Fair was about reprogramming American history. Okay? A lot of it is about reprogramming American history. Remember, the Peabody and J.P. Morgan is controlling the narratives and shit right now. And then the Rothschilds get it over, right? So during this World Fair exposition, right? Exposition. People is walking through, looking at these things, right? Da, 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 da. Shit like, damn, these Shriners look like Americans. These Turks and shit who's pretending to be Muslims and shit. They look like Americans. Well, that's because they are Americans. Well, these foreigners are a fraud. These are Americans pretending to be foreigners. Because these are performers, right? Let's not forget right here at the top. These are performers. These ain't real people. This is what the World Fair was, is the reprogramming after the Reconstruction. They was hiring actors, entertainers, no different than what they doing now with Hollywood. This was the first form of propaganda before TVs and movies. Plays, theater. This is the first form of psyops and propaganda, right? So peep game, what's happening in Carolina? Just keep going though. All right, let me slide off the camera real quick. Right? So it says that they was a fraud. All right? When the parade reached the mosque, the real Turks, most of whom were little hat people, listen. When the parade reached the mosque, the real Turks, not these Americans pretending to be Turks, not these Shriners, not these black Americans pretending to be Shriners and Turks. The real Turks, most of whom were little hat people. I told you, right? Turks, Azars, Caucasians, little hat people, same people, right? So peep game. So the real Turks, most of whom were little hat people, took off their slippers and fell to their knees in prayer, while the Shriners rushed in with their shoes on as spectators. After the Mazan, Hassan Bey ensured the, quote, weird prayer with something of the sweetness of a yodel, right? Of a yodel. Niggas is yodeling, right? In its intonation. What's that in K-Real? Intonation, right? The Turkish drum corps beat, right? They beat in a frenzy in the crescendo. The Shriner band caught up in what it thought was the spirit of the moment, kicked into high gear as one of the Turkish officials tried and failed to hush the band, playing popular numbers such as the breweries and the ta-da-da-ba-da-da, right? The Turks prayed foreheads to the ground, and the Shriners from Muslim temples in Detroit, right? Muslim temples in Detroit, ironically, later becomes a Moor Science Temple in Detroit, but peep game. And the others watch. At the end of the nobles' visit to the Shriners' Ottoman Mosque in the Midway, the floors had to be scrubbed from all the mud of the enthusiasts and its cultural insensitive, right? Culturally insensitive, fez-wearing American pseudo-Muslims. I'm not just saying that. What's that in Swarthy? You gonna love this live, bro. You gonna love this live. When I be calling them Psudeo-Moors, I ain't saying that shit for no reason. I'm saying this shit because I done already read this book. What's that in this shit? What's that in the Star Checker? I done already read this book, bro. That's why I be going so hard on these niggas. These niggas is Psudeo-Moors. They don't know no ancestry. They don't know no dynasty. They don't know no history. They don't know shit. They don't even know that the fez they wearing is Turk / little hack Azar people. They don't know none of this shit. But Pete Gang though, shout it. Right, Pete Gang. Look what they just said at the bottom. They said that they had to clean the floors because all the mud that was trapped by the enthusiastic of culturally insensitive fez-wearing American pseudo-Muslims, American Psudeo-Moors, American pseudo-Muslims. Who is these fez-wearing American pseudo-Muslims? They are Shriners. They had trampled into the building. Many Shriners seemed to treat this solemn ceremony as a huge joke, which was more or less the malice separate of the Shriners. Alright? So I ain't calling these people pseudo. These people been was called pseudo. Even all the way back in 1893. They said the fez-wearing American pseudo-Muslims, who is now Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam and more Science Temple niggas of today. This shit got started in a circus. This shit got started in a circus on some pseudo shit. Let's keep going though, because this is only the first page. Let's keep going. This is only the first page. Let's keep going though, right? So it says, right? And it says that all of these people and these members, they dressed up in Turkish delegation. Turkish delegation wear fezzes or gorgeous silk turbans. A large number of Syrian riders from the quote Wild East show, right? There go another theater, Wild East show. We in the World Fair. World Fair was the reprogramming for all the incubators and new people that was coming in of false history. There's a lot of theaters and shows, performers. All right, peep game. They dressed as a turbaned bandoos, astride camels and magnificent Arabian horses. Right? When you pull up the Chicago World Fair picture, you'll see camels and shit in the street. That's what they talking about, right? So they provided additional interest. Together, the Turkish villagers and the visiting Shriners. Who is the visiting Shriners? The visiting Shriners are who? The fez-wearing pseudo-American Muslims. Okay? They paraded all the way from the Exposition train station through the length of the Midway, right? And into the Turkish village. One woman observing the Shriners and Turks parade remarked that the Turks looked just like Americans, right? Repetition, the father of learning. She observed and said the Turks look like Americans. When told that most of the Turks were indeed Americans, the disappointed woman told her husband that the foreigners are frauds. When the parade, right? We already covered that part, right? Repetition is the father of learning. She was disappointed that these wasn't real Turks. So now enjoying the flash pots of Egypt as literally possible, the fake North American nobles, right? I ain't say this shit. I ain't write this book. I ain't even old enough. They said the fake North American nobles. Who is the fake North American nobles? They would be the Shriners. Who is the Shriners? The fez-wearing pseudo-American Muslim niggas. The same niggas that's doing the same shit today. Authenticate your birth certificate. UCC. Wichita Moors. Dr. York and niggas. Nation of Islam. Moors Science Temple. This is their roots. Their roots began in a circus called the World Fair. But it was an act. It was a show. It was a theater. It wasn't real. But peep this out though. So the fake North American nobles seldom took their own legend very seriously. These niggas don't even take their own legend seriously. And you know this. Every time I ever sit across from a Moor and we got a pseudo-Moor and we got into some real history, them niggas don't... They don't give a fuck about that shit. All these niggas want to talk about is law, and law. And them niggas still don't be knowing shit. They don't talk about no history. Because they don't know no history. They don't be taking this shit serious. Right? So they seldom take this shit serious. Right? You said, how do we claim our name? You already got your name. You already got your name. All you gotta do is do your census records, build your family tree, and find out what land patents or freedmen bank accounts or whatever is left in your family that you have that is unclaimed. Our people don't even know that we already won the fight. It's called self-determination, and we won that right to self-determine. We already won. But our people don't know it because we're not financially literate. Because we're debt slaves. The only way that's going to free you from slavery of today, which is debt, is financial freedom. Economics. All right? So you already got your name. Your name is your name. All right? So peep game, though. So they say they don't even take their legends very seriously. Even their own historians speaks of the libraries, right, of the liberties taken with their Genesis story. Quote, the placing of the origins of this order of Masons. Oh, my bad. Placing of the origins of this order of Mecca, right? The order of Mecca, unquote, is a fancy of the imagination. The order of Mecca is a fancy of the imagination. When niggas be talking about America's Morocco, that shit is a fancy imagination. It's a fancy imagination. The only Morocco that was in America was in the World Fair, my nigga. There's no Morocco in America. Real shit. There's no Morocco in America. That shit came from the World Fair. Theaters and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, the placing of the origin of this order of Mecca is a fancy of the imagination, which historians in generally had the sense to claim use of. One Shriner historian wrote in 1906, right, of the order as a, quote, compilation of facts and fantasies, right? Remember what I always told you? The best lies are the ones that's mixed with what? Truth and lies. The best lies are the ones that's mixed with truth and lies. What's happening, B-Frog? The best lies are the ones that's mixed with truth and lies, right? So they said this Shriner historian said that all this Morocco and America and Order of Mecca and all this bullshit from the fake North American nobles is a compilation of facts and fantasies, which subsequently were handed out to a writing in anxious consistency. The Shriners' fantasies had a distinctly Orientalist flavor, describing Muslim lands with exotic and erotic language, as in the following passage, which is we're not going to read because we're on TikTok, right? That's why I cut it off. So now, this kind of Orientalist fantasy was so overwrought that it did not disguise its air of winking and slightly salacious irreverence, which fit with the air of droll irony, okay? That became part of American masculine culture in the wake of the horrors of the Civil War. The order's customers also embodied Western Orientalist ideas of the East. The nobles wore rich costumes, right? Costumes. The nobles wore rich costumes because these are actors of Eastern character, made of silk, right, and velvet, of Oriental intensity of color, topping with a fez. According to the Shriners, the wearing of the fez originated from the time when the Crusades interrupted the Hajj to Mecca around 960 CE, and the Hamadans west of the Nile journeyed to the city of Fez in Morocco instead. Shriners' myths were loosely based on, right, Islamic history. Shriners' myths was loosely based in Islamic history, but included many occurrences, right? Many occurrences. Come on, man. What's happening, Mr. Drew? Peace. I'm giving y'all, that's why I call them Psudeo-Moors. These niggas ain't even the real niggas in colonial times. That's why I call these niggas Psudeo-Moors, man. That's why I call these niggas Psudeo-Moors, bro. And they don't even know where this shit come from. They just follow blindly behind the next motherfucker they got a fizz on. They say, all niggas is Moors. All niggas ain't Moors. I'm sorry. And Morocco is definitely not in America, my nigga. That shit inside the World Fair Circus. Right? We talking about 1893. They was already calling these niggas pseudo before me and other people even start calling these niggas pseudo. And they call these niggas the fake North American nobles. They call these niggas what? The fez wearing pseudo American Muslims, nigga. In 1893 and in 1900s. Motherfuckers was already calling them fake before us. This is why you ain't got no so-called Moor story inside your family tree. Your grandma don't be knowing what the fuck you be talking about. Grandma, we Moors, baby. What the fuck you talking about? I'm from Mississippi. Like, she'll hit you with one of them real quick. Most people ain't got no Moor story. Because when you really study history, the 3% of Moors that came to North America went to Mexico, nigga. That's why when you go to Mexico and Latin American countries, me no black, me morisco, me moreno. Yeah, nigga. You feel me? For real. Most of the 3% of the Moors went to Mexico. That's a fact. This why so-called black Americans, when most of us, you ain't gonna find no Moorish ancestry. Like me, Natural, and a few others probably be the only motherfuckers that y'all ever see that probably got one ancestor that come from some shit like that. And y'all seen documents. Everybody else not gonna have that shit. Most, you feel me? I'm just keeping it real. What's happening, Raw? So this why I be like, shit, man. I could teach people the real history about Moors. So y'all ain't gotta be out here listening to these niggas, your rise of the Moors, and fuck that nigga name 13, 16, 12, 21 keys, or whatever that nigga name is, and all this Nation of Islam shit, and Moorish Science Temple, and nigga, you ain't gotta be believing in Yaqub stories, because it ain't no damn Yaqub story. It was no big head scientist that was gene splicing niggas. Can't nobody show you no source on that shit. And then the only source that a motherfucker can show you is some shit that Dr. York and niggas done drew up. That ain't no real history. There was no big head scientist that was gene splicing niggas. That shit came from the Moorish Science Temple and Nation of Islam niggas. And the person who actually created the story was a half YT man from Australia. Or some shit like that. What's his name? Willie Dodford. Or some shit like that. Whatever that nigga name is. Willie Darford. You feel me? Dr. York was stealing from Zachary Stitching. Yeah. And a lot of these niggas, and all these niggas like Dr. York and shit, a lot of them niggas was more Science Temple niggas too. So these niggas just took the crazy shit that folks was creating in the 1800s, took the Zachariah Stitch and Anunnaki shit, put that shit together, and gave niggas a beautiful, fancy fairy tale. Come on, man. Peak game. I'm telling you the truth. Alright, let's keep going. These boys said that this was a fantasy. He said this shit was a fantasy. And I hope y'all understand that the key word is Shriners, right? Y'all keep seeing the word Shriner over and over and over and over and over and over, right? I'm surprised they haven't rung a bell in nobody's head inside the comments. Oh shit, Shriners, right? Because who the fuck is Shriners? When you do your history, right? Right, Swarthy? When niggas do their history, right? Shriners, huh? These Psudeo-Moors are Shriners and they don't even know it. Listen, this the funny shit. Most of these Psudeo-Moors are Shriners and niggas don't even know it, bro. Some of them is Shriners and they do know it. But there's a lot of motherfuckers who's following this shit, they don't even know. When you be talking about all this Moor stuff and niggas be talking about I self am law and all this other shit and arm, leg, arm, head and mystic science and Arabic order of nobles and mystic shrine and shit like that. Them niggas is Shriners. Them niggas is Shriners. Right? Prince Hall Mason niggas. You see your favorite comedian, Richard Pryor, in that motherfucker. And there's a lot of black celebrities and white celebrities who's in this shit. So Pete gang though, right? And, right? And that ain't the only people who's inside of this. When have you ever seen a Native American with a Shriner necklace on? Right? When have you ever seen a Native American with a Shriner necklace on? Right? Pete gang. Right? A lot of these pictures is World Fair pictures. I'm surprised nobody have ever told y'all. When we be showing y'all a lot of these pictures and shit like this, and a lot of these are World Fair pictures. Reason number 10,000 that Colonial Times is made the fuck up. I guaranteed you they made Columbus and all this colonial shit up in the World Fair. I guaranteed you. I guaranteed you. But what's the real history? How come we don't know, Los? Cause you've been brainwashed. For starters, niggas never even told you real history. So you hopped out the womb, they never told you real history. They filled your head up with bullshit this whole time. Fantasies mixed with facts. Confused the shit out of you. I'm telling you, a lot of that colonial shit ain't happened. Ain't none of that. Bro, come on. Let me cut the light on, bro. I want y'all to see how serious I am when I say this shit. Hold on, you saying the slave trade ain't never happened? I'm saying the slave trade didn't happen in no 14, 15, 16, 1700s. Like, that shit happened late 17, 1800s. The moment they start taking census records was the moment slavery or forced labor and shit like that popped off. I'm keeping it all the way a buck 10 with you. I'm keeping it all the way a buck 10 with you, bro. These folks is capping. Ain't no slave ships. If we saying where's the slave ships for the slaves and there ain't none, then there ain't no ship for the captain. So if there's no slaves, there's no captains either driving the motherfuckers. Unless those ships wasn't wooden boats, those were steamboats. And they just changed the timeline on it. Come on, man, Pete gang. Don't nobody remember slavery. Don't nobody have no... They say this shit happened in the 1800s and shit. 1800s and 50s and shit. This shit was still going on. Bruh, when you do your census records, that's only your third great grandmama for a lot of us. Listen to what I'm telling you. The tail end of slavery and shit, that's like your third great grandmama. That shit wasn't that long ago. And ain't nobody got no slave story that ever passed down, or nobody knows shit about shit. Grandma, was we ever slaves? Nah, baby, not that I know. I heard it was some slaves. You heard it was some slaves? That's what my grandma say. I heard about slavery. You heard about slavery, but you ain't never seen that shit? Nah. Did your grandmama, which is my great grandma, did she ever tell you about some slavery? She said, nah. So we ain't got no slave story. And y'all only heard about it, right? Come on, man. Peep game. The first wave of brainwashing happened in the World Fair. Before TV propaganda, it was theaters. Acting and shit like that. That was the first form of psyops and programming. And who was they programming? They was programming all the children that was in the boarding schools that was snatched away. They was programming all the incubator babies and shit. And they was programming all these YT people that was coming over dressed in black like they ain't never seen a beach before and shit like that. All of these people was being programmed. And this program kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed through generations. And then after J.P. Morgan and the Peabody people, after they got done having their hand inside the education system, they passed that bitch off to the Rothschilds, and the Rothschilds started incorporating niggas coming from apes and monkeys and shit, and the heliocentric globe, and you know what I'm saying? Niggas started the Big Bang and fucking dinosaurs and shit like that. Then niggas start giving you movies about Jurassic Park and the T-Rex. Nigga, how the fuck you know what a dinosaur sound like? Nigga, wasn't nobody around that time, nigga. And then when you be looking at a lot of these damn archaeological sites where they find dinosaur bones, they ain't even digging deep. They ain't even digging deep, bro. I'm telling you, go look at all the fucking archaeological sites of fucking dinosaur bones that they found. That shit ain't even deep. Talking about this shit 10 million years old. Nigga, King Tut tomb was buried deeper than this fucking shit. Ain't no damn what the fuck? This shit be like 2 feet deep. Nigga, my daddy buried deeper than this damn dinosaur bone. What the hell is y'all talking about? Ain't no such thing as fucking dinosaurs, nigga. They made that shit up. I'm telling y'all, bro. Nigga been lying to y'all for a grizzly up. And these niggas is in on it too, right? Native American with a Shriner necklace, right? Oh, and that ain't even a catch. Look at the necklace below the Shriner necklace. That's an improved Order of the Red Man logo. See, signs is for the conscious mind. You got a Shriner necklace nigga on this nigga, which he probably also a Mason. And then below the Shriner necklace, you have an improved Order of the Red Man necklace. And for those who remember Improved Order of the Red Man, you know. For those who ain't never heard of the Improved Order of the Red Man, it is an organization that come from the Sons of Liberty, and these niggas pretend to be American Indians since the 1700s, nigga. And they Masons. And they celebrate this shit every year. There's pictures of them niggas celebrating this shit. Called Improved Order of the Red Man. It's some real shit. I'll cover that a little bit later on for people who ain't never seen me go over that information. But when you sit back and you put all this shit together in hindsight, you be like, bro, a lot of this shit fake. A lot of this shit fake. This Moor shit. I'm talking about, I ain't talking about real life Moors. I'm talking about this shit that's in America that these niggas is doing. That shit fake, pseudo than a motherfucker. A lot of the Hebrew Israelites on the corner screaming at motherfucker, they pseudo than a bitch. Cause that shit comes from the World Fair too. Nation of Islam, Moor Science Temple, Shriners, Improved Order of the Red Man, Freemasons, Prince Hall Masons. Man, I can keep on naming this shit. Skull and Crossbones, nigga. The Boule, nigga. All these organizations was around in World Fair days, man. I can keep going. Do you know how many secret organizations in America? It's over 1,000 different secret organizations in this motherfucker. You only know probably 5. What's happening, Child of the Soul? For real, you only probably know about 5 maybe if you think hard. But it's thousands in this bitch. And you never know who motherfuckers is tied to. You don't know who you tied to. Infiltration happened from the inside. I'm going to always tell you that. Infiltration happened from the inside. Have y'all ever just studied history? Nah, y'all press 1 in the comments after I say this. Y'all ever just sat back and look at history and thought about some shit and you probably was like, what if our elders sold us out? That's why they don't really talk about this shit. Have that thought ever crossed y'all mind? Like, what if it was our elders that sold us out, bro? Because think about it. They be the first ones that be trying to push you into an indoctrination camp. They be the first ones that be trying to push your ass in the church. They be the first ones that be trying to say, yeah, baby, we black. They be the first ones that be introducing you to the social construct, my nigga. Willingly. Go to work. Go to the plantation, work. Hey, you better not say nothing to them white folk. You know how they be doing. Nigga be acting scary and shit, right? You be like, damn, what happened to the rebellious motherfuckers I be reading about in the history? What if these ain't really our elders, my nigga? You ever thought about that? What if these ain't really our elders for real, nigga? This shit get deep. Hollywood created a whole bunch of movies, The Replacements. Who the fuck y'all replacing? Duplicity. What, nigga? Doppelgangers. What the fuck y'all? Hold on, nigga. All right. Let's get back to the book real quick, though, right? Because I'm teaching y'all where a lot of this shit come from. This shit come from World Fair, nigga, right? You got mother. We talking about Shriners, nigga, right? Your boy Richard Pryor. Look at him. Look at that boy Richard. Nigga didn't even know he was a Shriner. And he's more likely a Mason because most Shriners are Prince Hall Freemasons. For real. Most black Shriners are also Prince Hall Freemasons. The white Shriners are the other Masons. Right? E-Gang. Facts. We get into trouble when our teachers are YT, man. I'm trying to tell you, bro, E-Gang. Put them in school, yeah. Somebody in the house sold us out, man. I'm trying to tell y'all. It's a reason why it's a reason why elders don't be trying to talk to us, man. In the same group as Walt Disney and all them folks. Yeah, man. Oh, I got another picture of this dude. Hold on. Right? All these black Masons, right? Chicago, right? Arabic, Chicago. The story that I'm telling y'all, the World Fair is what? Taking place where? In Chicago. Where they say that the Order of Mecca is in? Chicago. Alright. The niggas come from Prince Hall. Right? The niggas come from Prince Hall. Now the YT people, they come from the other, those the YT Eastern Stars, my bad. Right, the YT ones, they are part of the other type of Masons, but they all is in on the jug. You could be anyone in Walt Disney. The world is a stage, right? Child of the soul. The world's a stage. And all the men and women are players, right? So y'all get back to it real quick, though. Let's get back to the read. We got a little bit more in there. Let's see where we leave off at. Headquarters of the Black Hidden Hand in Chicago. Man, look. All right. So now, trying to see where we leave off. Okay, here. What's this shit? Alright, here we go right here. Alright, so Pete Gang. So, hey, shout out to everybody that's in here too. Thank y'all for the likes, the love, the gifts. If y'all new to my page, go ahead and follow the page right now so you can be notified every time I go live. Check out the playlist, check out the videos. You're definitely going to enjoy the page. All type of sources, books for y'all to screenshot, share, and everything like that. Man, we've been doing this for a grip. A lot of us, you feel me? So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. So, Peep Gang, right? So now we talking about these mystic Shriners, right? So the mystic Shriners was not Judaism or Christianity, but Islam, right? The rights of the nobles of the mystic shrine, right? The nobles of the mystic shrine, Shriners, right, became an important inspiration for the black Muslim sectors of the United States. What's happening in Dallas? Right? Listen to what they said. They said that the rites of the nobles of the mystic shrine, we talking about Shriners, became an important inspiration for the black Muslim sects of the United States, because the rites were so suffused with Islamic legend, myths, and passwords. The opening words of the Shriner ceremonial explaining their initiation rites were, quote, "My friends or nobles of the mystic shrine, the order with which you have become united was founded by Muhammad and has its background the trackless deserts of Arabia and the fearless devoted and the barbaric Arabs. All initiates were made to cross the hot sand, which represented the peerless journey of the first Muslim pilgrimage to Mecca," right? Initiates promise to worship the shrine of Islam and cleanse themselves in a pool meant to signify the well of Zamzam, or alternatively Zamzam, where Islamic traditions teaches that Hagar and her son Ishmael quenched their thirst when they were expelled from Abraham's tents, right? The initiates gave a, quote, grand salam and bowed in the imitation of Muslim prayer, and they kissed a representative. All right? They kissed a representative, right? This pseudo-Moor shit gets real boule-ish. All right? I'm being real. This pseudo-Moor shit that started from the World Fair, created by Shriners, this shit get real boule real quick. All right. So now the representatives, right, forms of black Freemasonry is much less well known. These various forms of alternative Freemasonry not only served black men and women of lower classes and statuses, but they also were more commonly interracial in composition and invoked the transnationalism of the oppressed, showing their lots not with the European colonial powers, but with the colonized nations of the global South. Finally, the alternative so-called African American Freemasonry was critical to the development of the sympathetic form of black Orientalism that helped to generate many of the alternative so-called African American religions of the 20th century, from the black from the black Israelism of Bishop William Sanders, right, Crowdy and Rabbi Wentworth, authors, and Matthews, to the black spiritual church of Father George W. Hurley, and the black Islamist of Noble Drew motherfucking Lee. Come on, man, I told y'all, bro. I told y'all I was gonna show y'all where this shit started from. I'm gonna show y'all where this shit came from, bro. But let's not forget, on the first page, right, on the first opening page, it said what? It said these people are performers. These people are performers. This shit ain't real. These are performers. They also called these niggas what? They called these niggas pseudo fez wearing American Muslims. Nigga. Niggas in the niggas in 1893 done already exposed these damn pseudo niggas. These niggas said that this shit come from Shrinery, Prince Hall Freemasonry, Improved Order of the Red Man, even World Fair performer theater type shit. And they say that this shit gave birth to your what? To your black Israelism, your Hebrew Israelites, right? The black spiritual church, your black spiritual people that be out here on some crazy shit, right? Nigga be sunbathing in their front yard naked and shit, talking about they getting one with nature and your Anunnaki niggas and shit, right? George W. Hurley, right? Dr. York, before Dr. York ass nigga, right? The Black Islam of Noble Drew motherfucking Ali that give birth to who? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It's right here. It's right here. All right? Huh? Why you think Malcolm X left? Now you know why Malcolm X left this shit. And he came back telling you, hey, this ain't real Islam, nigga. There's an interview of I keep saying Michael, my bad. There's an interview of Malcolm X literally telling you that ain't real Islam. That's why I left. And I took my own pilgrimage to the real Mecca over there. To where the real motherfuckers at. Right? That's one reason why they really got mad. Because he came back exposing that shit. These niggas is hustlers. Scammers. Niggas been scamming their way inside of our communities for a long time. A lot of these organizations got to go. A lot of secret groups in the United States. Facts. Roll it if you got it. Roll it if you got it. They said all this shit came from who? Man, look. Man, we reading from The Princess and the Prophet. For those who's just coming in. We reading from The Princess and the Prophet. That'll tell it all. That'll have them niggas in the corner crying. Let's learn where and who this pseudo-Moor shit was created by. And where it come from. A real Moor or descendant of such will have it in their family tree. It'll be in your census records. Because real so-called Moors were documented when they got over here. I show people my ancestors all the time. I ain't about to go through it right now. But I done show a lot of my OGs and in-betweens. They'll tell you they seen it. I think I probably got a video or two showing it. It's documented. If it's in your family, it's in your family. But remember, only 3% came to North America. Nigga, that's a small number. It's 50 million of us. All right. Okay. Sometimes they will have the last name Moor. And sometimes the last name Moor just means that it was a dark person. Because the word Moor is no different than the word Negro. It just means dark-skinned individual. The word Moor is an exonym. It's not a bloodline. It's not a nationality. It's not none of that. It's no different than the word Negro. This is why Moor and Negro is synonymous. It just means dark-skinned people. So-called Negroid people. Right? Now, when you get into specifics, okay, if this is a so-called Moor, where they're from? Oh, well, he from Mauritania, from the kingdom of Mauritania, and their sultan and king and queen is such and such. Right? And their history is yada, yada, yada. Right? Now you can start getting into some shit. Or who is these Moors over here? These Moors is from the Al-Mavud kingdom or the Al-Mavud dynasty. And their sultan is such and such, such and such. These was Berbers and Turdes, whoop-de-whoop-whoop. Right? Now you can be specific. This is how you know people who study this shit for real. Because a lot of these pseudo niggas, they can't break this shit down to you. They don't be knowing nothing. And if you dig hard enough, and I'm going to tell you this shit by experience, if you dig hard enough and a lot of these documents they be showing you, a lot of those documents is fraudulent. A lot of them is not even real documents. Just because that motherfucker says on the highlight, or the United States court case, man, niggas be typing up fake shit all the time. And I done showed people plenty court cases that these niggas done typed up themselves way back in the 90s and 80s and 70s and shit, just lying. Real talk. If you dig hard enough, you'll find it. This why I be telling folks, bro, don't be listening to these niggas. Don't listen to these niggas when they be telling you to rescind your birth certificate and that is paper terrorism. You will go to jail for that. And it's a lot of them niggas sitting in jail right now because of it. Right? All right, man. So, Pete gang, let's get back to it though, because I got a few more pages though. Look, look, man. Right? It's at the bottom. The bottom highlighted part, right? So y'all know that I ain't the one that's saying it. They said the feds wearing American pseudo-Muslim niggas. Shit. Who ain't nothing but some Shriners. Alright. Alright. So now, hold on. I think we already read that part. Right? So now it says, in Psalms, the heart of the secret ritual of the Shriners was Islamic history and Islamic rituals. As they explain themselves, quote, our whole ritualistic system is based upon these kindly attributed, such as refinement, education, and moral integrity, together with the unflinching faith of Allah, unquote. One part of the initiation was intended, quote, to teach you to always renounce the wails and evils of the world and promise to ever worship at the shrine of Islam, where the air is rich with the wisdom of Allah, unquote. Shriners wore a quote-unquote Muslim oath, unquote, to Allah, the God of Arab, Muslim, and Muhammad, unquote. And they use Muslim greetings such as y'all know the greetings. Assalamualaikum salam and shit like that. Y'all know the greetings. Islam, brother. You know, Assalamualaikum salam and you know, and all of that, right? Peace be upon to you, and with you is peace and stuff like that, right? So in their ceremonies, Shriners profess reverence for the Holy Prophet, the Holy Quran, and the holy city of Mecca. They reenacted, right? Let's not forget, these are performers, right? They reenacted. This shit ain't real. They reenacted Islamic history. They spoke Arabic phrases, and they identified not simply with Arab, but as Arab. Now stop. Most of these pseudo-Moors that you will encounter, they believe that they are Arabs. I'm connecting the dots. I'm telling you. These pseudo-Moors, they think they're Arabs. This is why they be regurgitating Arab history. I be saying that shit all the time. Like, y'all telling Arab history. Why y'all still in them people culture? You don't know what you talking about, my brother. You know, Asiatic, Negro. Nigga, your ass is from Detroit. Shut up. My brother, your Asiatic Negro, you know, we are the Arabs and shit, nigga. Your ass is from Tennessee, nigga. You don't know shit about Morocco, nigga. You know, I'm just being real. You don't know shit about Morocco. Shut up, bro. Your grandmama told you that your ass is Indian. Like everybody else, nigga. Stop playing. That's what your grandmama told you. Y'all no different than the Pan-Africans, nigga. Your grandmama said she Indian. My grandmama say we Indian, nigga. They grandmama say that they Indian, nigga. The fuck is this more shit y'all be talking about, bro? Alright. I'm just keeping it all the way above 20, man. This pseudo-Moor shit gotta stop, bro. This pseudo-Moor shit got to stop, bro. These niggas identify as Arabs. I'm telling you, most of these pseudo-Moors believe they Arabs. This the whole reason why they be wearing that fez. That fez ain't got shit to do with Mauritania, Berbers, Tuaregs, Moors, or whatever y'all want to call them, right? The fez ain't got shit to do with them niggas. The fez is Turkish, Caucasian, Armenian or Arab. Y'all know. That's where that shit come from. All right. So in the lecture given to the initiates, alike swore on a Bible and a Quran, right? So when you get initiated into this Shriner shit, right? You swear on the Bible and Quran, nigga. Think about it. They have you swearing on the Bible and Quran in their ceremonies and taught reverence for the Quran and the Prophet Muhammad, who they claim was the founder of their secret society. The Quran is the unique history of our founder, Muhammad, unquote. Shriners of all races learned upon initiation. The work is absolutely unique in its origin and its preservation, upon the authenticity of which no one has ever been able to cast a serious doubt. The Quran is the actual text as dictated by Muhammad himself, day by day and month by month, duty his lifetime. It is the reflection of his mastermind, sometimes inartistic and self-contradictory. More often inspiring and lyrical, and always fulfilled with great ideas. The Quran filled with great ideas which stand out as a whole. Woo, that was a mouthful. We're gonna let it breathe for a second, y'all. Y'all good? Y'all straight? Hope y'all enjoying the live. Thank y'all for the likes, the love, the gifts. What's happening, Jay? Peace, big dog. Hope y'all enjoying the live, man. I told y'all I had something big for y'all. Look, right. Hey. Man, look. These boys out here, man. These boys out here on some. Till this day, nigga. Oh shit. Oh, we gonna let it breathe for a second though. Let me hop out the screen. So now y'all know where it come from. Now y'all know where Noble Drew Ali come from. Now y'all know where a lot of this Israelite organizations come from. And just because I'm teaching y'all this about the beginnings of these said organizations of pseudoness, that doesn't change the fact that Paleo-Hebrew was found here. And it don't change the fact that, yes, real Moors in history were Negroes or Asiatic Negroes. But they was not these niggas wearing fezzes. Okay? That's Arabic Caucasian shit. Okay? So this is where we have to separate bullshit from real history. And this is all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to separate the bullshit from the real history. Because a lot of people often tell me that when people talk about Moor history, they get real confused. So they don't like to dig in it. And the confusion come from this shit right here. This right here is causing the confusion. A lot of these pseudo niggas is causing the confusion. Because when you get real books that talks about so-called Moors or Sephardic Jews is what they really are, it's straightforward. It's no confusion on who they are. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we'll do more lives with this. You know, I post it on YouTube, cut it down, trim it, and post videos on the page and keep going over this. You know, the repetition is the father of learning and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. So, you know, my panel is open. If anybody want to come in, add something, tap into it, something like that, you know what I'm saying? You can tap in, add your 2 cents, or, you know, walk people down the history if y'all got something to say or something like that. But I just wanted to start the intro off on fire, teaching people where a lot of this pseudo stuff come from. When you talk about all this Yakub and y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. The goal reach was 30K. Appreciate that. Thank y'all for 30K. We hit that goal. Appreciate y'all for tapping the screen. Thank y'all for the likes, the love, the gifts, and the shares. New Spain, not even mentioned in history. New Spain is mentioned in history, but briefly. It ain't history. New Iberia is mentioned more than New Spain. And history is more than just Spaniards. The Spaniards wasn't even the first people over here when you know the history. It was Norsemen. Norsemen came over here and kicked it with the Indians in 900 AD type shit. Right? And Norsemen settlements was found all through Greenland and Canada and even up north along the plains area, right? They found Norse settlements in colonies, right? So the Norsemen was over here already. And then from the Norsemen, you had Russia that was already right here, because during that time, Alaska was still Russia. So you already had Russians right here, right? So when you really start to understand history, or what they call history and the timeline they give us, the Spaniards ain't really been controlling shit that long, and they wasn't really deep like that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of those stories is fabricated too. You know? I'm telling you, man, hey, I appreciate you for subscribing, OG Tribe. Appreciate that. So, the whole purpose of the colonial story is to brainwash racism. The colonial period is to prime your mind for racism. All right, when we talk about MK Ultra breaking the psychic so I can indoctrinate you, this is what colonial times and so-called American history is about. When you go to school, when we went to school, we went to a MK Ultra camp, my G. They had to break our psychic so they can indoctrinate us. And that's what they did. And that's what they still doing to the kids, right? So after they break your psychic, they can indoctrinate you. So how do they break your psychic in school? How is the MK Ultra so subtle? Well, for starters, we all remember when they be bringing TV inside the classroom, cut the lights off and shit like that. That's one form of MK Ultra, because when they cut the lights off, it puts your brain inside of a beta mood wave. A beta brain wave is a wave that can be tapped in, programmed, hypnotized, indoctrinated, and all that type of stuff like that. Whoop whoop whoop. So that's one form of it. Another form of it is talking about oppressing shit all the time, right? The Black History Month and all this other stuff, right? Every time we talk about so-called black folks or black Americans, there's always some slave shit, buck breaking and goddamn breeding farms and just the worst of the damn worst. You be like, God damn, bro, ain't nobody else go through this shit? So we ain't gonna hear no story about nobody else. It was just us. Red flag number 2 about some bullshit indoctrination, right? So, but you're telling children this. You're telling children this. So you're breaking their psychic. Now we can start programming you. After we break your psychic with the story, Friday, we're going to bring in this damn TV. We're going to cut the lights off and we're going to watch Roots. Amistad and shit like that, okay? And for the white kids that's inside the classroom, it's gonna breed a false sense of superiority. So this is where so-called colonial times was invented to start breeding the so-called racial climate that we have today, which it was just all bred off of bullshit, because ain't none of that shit happen. Everything that people know about slavery came from entertainment. Look, I'm not telling you no lie. Everything that everybody know about slavery came from entertainment. Birth of a Nation, first movie, boom, entertainment, right? World Fair Days and shit like that. I just read to you where the Psudeo-Moors shit and all that shit come from, right? World Fair Days, right? Performers, reenactments, theater was the first form of media and brainwashing and all that type of shit. Then you had the TV and the movie theaters, and what's the first thing they give you? Birth of a motherfucking Nation, right? Okay, boom, some more pseudo shit. And then it just more propaganda after propaganda after propaganda, and everybody get their information from the TV. Nobody is really taught this slave shit for real. All TV shit. Most people that be telling you, like, bro, where you heard this shit from? It's in the books. It's all these niggas don't own no books. They ain't did no census records, no none of that. What's happening? Aboriginal duck in the building, tar design, what's happening? They ain't never did no real reading. All they know is propaganda that was propagated to them through MK Ultra and propaganda machines, right? So this is why I like the psyops part of breaking down the bullshit, right? Because the psyops part of this shit will let you know that, bro, again, for the 5th time, a lot of this shit didn't happen. Do I believe that Columbus exists? Fuck no. I do not believe Columbus exists at all. I don't believe a lot of these explorers that we be reading ever existed. I believe that this is the church, the Vatican, or elites, or whatever the fuck you want to call these niggas. I think that's them telling the truth, but they're using fucking pen names and aliases and shit. Like, he ain't about to write this book and be like, the Pope said that the real American Indians are niggas and shit. He ain't about to say that, but what these niggas will say was 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. He landed on the land of West Indies and he met niggas. Like, niggas are dressed up like that, right? Because they're priming your mind for a story. But in reality, motherfucker ain't come over here. Not no wooden boats across no damn Atlantic with no food, no water. If the slaves ain't got no food, no water, neither do the damn shipmates. Because you're talking about a time frame where there was a famine. 1400s. It was a great famine in Europe. Niggas ain't got no food. Niggas is malnutrition. They got the plague smacking them. They got the typhoid fever hitting. You know, you got rats fucking up shit. Like, this shit is ugly around this time. Ain't no food, no crops. Niggas malnutrition, bodies piling up. Like, this is a rough time, and they want you to think that niggas is selling the seas in wooden boats and capturing niggas at the same time. Hell no. What really happened is niggas got here in the 1800s, and that begins your colonial period right there. Because colonization happened globally in the 1800s. And there's pictures of that. And there's books to back up the picture. Real colonial times happened in the 1800s. What about Abraham Lincoln? That ain't even Abraham Lincoln. I broke that shit down to people last year. That ain't Abraham Lincoln on your $5 bill. That nigga named Stephen Phelps. I got his census record and everything. That nigga on your $5 bill named Stephen Phelps. And guess what? He an actor too. All these motherfuckers is actors. A lot of these niggas ain't real. A lot of these people are actors, World Fair niggas and shit. Remember, Abraham Lincoln is doing the World Fair time too. Hello, peep the dates. That nigga's World Fair too. I'm telling you the truth. A lot of these motherfuckers is warfare, bro. Why you ain't got no microfilm or no pictures of the so-called Civil War, nigga? All these wars that these niggas said happened in the 1800s and all this shit, slave rebellions and all that, you ain't got that one picture of this shit. Why I keep saying the pictures? Because the cameras was invented. You can go to Google and niggas will show pictures of us dangling from trees and shit like that. And you telling me that at the height of racism and whooping niggas ass, so-called, you ain't got that. Nobody took that one picture around this bitch. Nobody snapped it up one time. Nobody. Nobody ain't took a picture of a scalping and shit. Because it didn't happen. They give you drawings, cartoons and shit. Peak game. Peak game, man. A lot of this stuff didn't happen, man. What people is going through is called transportation narrative or narrative transportation, right? Transportation narrative theory or narrative transportation theory, however you want to word it. But what transportation narrative theory is that you can create a movie or write a book or story that is so good that you could immerse the reader or watcher subconsciously into your story. And that person will be so sucked into the story that even when the story is over with, the reader or watcher will pull something emotional back from it and they will embody it, believing that it's real. And it gets a little bit deeper than that. That's on some psychology shit, right? But peak game. I'm telling you all the ways that they brainwash you. Telling you all the ways that they brainwash you, dog. Like that movie, The Never Ending Story. Yup. Emotional damage, facts. It's like Inception. Holy Alliance, facts. Small window to travel, access the oceans between. And hurricane season. People be forgetting about hurricane season and shit like that. They want y'all to think that people was coming over here on boats during hurricane season and shit. Alright. So yeah, man, this shit get deep. So this is one of many of pseudo organization that plagues our community, right? The more you know. Okay. So now you know where a lot of this stuff come from. It come from the World Fair, it come from plays, it come from theaters, it come from shrine organizations and everything, and everybody who got a hand in fabricating history, right? Further taking the indigenous American from his true identity by trying to make this nigga Arabic. Listen to what I just said. Because this is what this shit is right here. This is just another way to take indigenous melanated Americans further away from their heritage and identity by trying to make us Arabic and shit. Trying to make us Arabs, Turks, fucking Caucasians and shit. That is not our culture. Our culture is not no Fez. And America's not no Morocco, and there's no such thing as Northwest of Mexico. That Northwest of Mexico ain't on nobody's map. That shit ain't on nobody's map. And then the map that motherfucker will show you is a pseudo map that the Moorish Science Temple drew up. It ain't even no real shit. The word Amexem comes from the word Exum, which means Ethiopian, from the Ethiopian Empire. So these niggas just hijacked another motherfucker's culture to try to create a narrative of fantasy like we just read. All this shit was just a scam and a hustle for niggas to get rich. I'm being all the way 100. All of it was just a scam for niggas to get rich. And niggas got rich back then off of it. That boy Noble Drew Ali was like a millionaire in that time frame. That's a lot of money. And a lot of these niggas be getting rich. Elijah Muhammad, come on, man, that nigga eating good. Right? Minister Farrakhan, nigga before Elijah Muhammad, that nigga eating good. All these niggas be eating good off the ignorance of our people. Blindly following some shit because it sound good. But not listening to your grandmama, though. Everybody, man, it's tethers all around us. It's tethers all around us. The moment we start waking up and realizing all of this bullshit, that's the moment all this shit crumble, because can't none of this stuff survive without us and our consumerism and our ignorance. The moment we wake up, a lot of this shit falls, crumbles, and everything like that. Maps ain't even at the proper scale. Facts. Was that EB in the building? So were black people ever slaves? I want to hear your take on that. Were black people really slaves? Well, I don't really know what black people is. If you talking about the American Negro, were we ever slaves? I would say 95% of us wasn't even slaves for real. I'd say 95% of us weren't even slaves. And the number probably higher than that, like 98 or something like that. Because for one, even if you go by the slave narrative and shit, whether you talk about Indian slavery or whatever the case may be, even though you read stories and they be talking about 1,000 this, 1,000 that, think about it, man. From the top of America to the bottom of America, to the West Indies, to the East Indies, it's so-called Negroes all over this motherfucker. For us in the United States, that's only 50 million. That's not even talking about the niggas in Canada, the niggas in South America, the niggas in West Indies, and the East Indies, right? So when you add those numbers up, that ain't even 1% of the total population of melanated people in America being enslaved, right? So if they catching 1,000 niggas over here, there's like 10,000, 20,000 free niggas, right? So I say about between 95, 98% of us was never slaves. This is why nobody has found a slave in their family tree yet. Out of everybody who been doing census records and stuff, nobody has found a slave yet in their family tree. So, said from Africa to America on a rowboat. Man, they want y'all to believe niggas was coming over here on rowboats and shit during hurricane season, typhoon season and shit, tsunami season. So you ain't find that one slave shit. Me neither, man. For real, they want people to think that shit. Niggas came over here doing some tsunami season and shit. Chained to the bottom of the boat on their back. The slightest common sense and logic, you can debunk this whole story. So now, when you do the etymology of slave, right? This is why we say that they're not telling the story the right way, right? Now, slave can mean many things, right? So when most people think about slavery, they think about whippings and all of that shit, right? But that's chattel. That's That's just abuse. That's not really what slavery is. When you research and do etymology of what the word slave just means a laborer. Slave just means a worker, an employee. Employee and slave can be interchangeable at any time. Real talk. I done showed people this before too. Employee and slave can be interchangeable at any time, right? So when you really start thinking about the story of so-called slave trade or slave, start thinking employee. When you hear trade, don't think like niggas is trading people. Think like a trade, like I went to Job Corps and I got a brick masonry license for a trade, right? So now when you start thinking about slave trade, think employment trade. Why? Because niggas had to get shit built here, right? They was building a lot of stuff. They was inventing a lot of stuff. They was destroying a lot of stuff. They was digging for gold. They was doing all of this shit. So you need niggas with skills, specific skills, right, to do these things. So what was real slavery? Real slavery was just employment. The same shit that's going on right now. Immigrants coming to America trying to get a job. Same shit. This is what Ellis Island and all this stuff was, right? So that's what a slave is. Then you can do the etymology of the word family. And the word family, etymology-wise, also means servant or slave. So your family members can be slaves and servants to the family, right? So there's many directions that you can go with this. And when most of us do our census records, most of the so-called slaves were family members. Presumably the wife or the woman or the such, you know what I'm saying? Or the cousin, the auntie, the nephews, or, you know, the grandkids working on a plantation. What is a plantation? A farm that you owed because we was farmers, right? So what was slavery for real? Something that they not really telling you, right? Something that they not really telling you. Shout out to everybody that's in here, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. People don't get that slavery never left, meaning the people they say that are slaves were employees. Yeah. And the slave owners was corporations. For real. And the slave owners was corporations. This is why when you be trying, when people be trying to put slavery on white folks be getting mad, talking about, I've never owned no slave. My family never owned no slave. That's because they never owned no slaves. For one, most white folks came over here poor as shit, too poor to even buy a slave. Most of them niggas was slaves themselves. 10 million white Americans come from white slaves, right? So niggas was slaves themselves too. Well, who owned the slaves? The same people that own the slaves today. Who is that? The corporations, nigga. Walmart, Chase Bank, nigga. SunTrust, Bank of America, a lot of these insurance companies and shit like that. Your car dealership, because you are in debt because you got to pay off that car note before you can own a car and shit like that. So you got to work extra hard and shit like that. Your fucking landlord, nigga. Like, the same people who was the slave owners back then, the corporations. This is why you still a slave. Debt slaves have always been around. This is what the whole taxing and all that shit was, to create debt slaves. You debt slaves. So how do you become free of a debt slave? Financial literacy, financial freedom. This is why they call it financial freedom. What's the opposite of financial freedom? Debt slavery, right? So what is the key to freedom of being a slave? Financial freedom. This is why they be trying to make it so hard for you to be financially free. You will own nothing and be happy type shit, right? Chattel slavery, right? All right, so peep game. So economics is the key to becoming free. Economics is the key to becoming free. But in order for you to have economics, you need a damn community. When you break up the community, you break up the economics. When you break up the family household where economics begin at, because you got to teach the kids financial literacy, right? How do you create a slave? You break up the community, because economics only works with a community. You can't have unity without community, and you can't have a community without unity, which breeds economics, which then turns into your economy, which then turns into your environment. They love when you leave the hood and not build that shit up. We don't see the value in the economic value inside our communities. We leave, they come in, they gentrify that motherfucker and turn into a Starbucks or something. a Target or the fucking Dollar Tree and shit like that, and they start making millions off that bitch, right? Some shit that you've been living in all your life and didn't even make 10,000 out of. Economics is the game. And niggas has been playing the wrong game this whole time. This is why I say I feel like our ancestors sold us out. Because they know this. They know the game. They know loopholes and everything to the game that you don't even know, and they not going to tell you. Why? Because they want you to be an upstanding citizen. They want you to work at the plantation. They want you to work until you're 65 and retire and go to church and go to school and all these social institutions that your very own family and elders be trying to send your ass to. You be like, damn, what happened to the rebellion? And hold on, bro, this shit ain't sitting right with me. Come on, man, they sold us out a long time ago. They sold us out a long time ago. It's kind of like the sacrificing of the firstborn type shit. But the time is up, though. Time is up. There's no more sacrificing of the firstborn no more. There's no more selling us out. Because this is a new generation that's waking up. This is like a clean slate that we got. Okay? This is why we waking up. We're forging a new narrative. We're forging a new pathway for the kids. We understanding a little bit more. We starting to wake up to a lot of stuff. Only thing that's missing is the economics, the self-determination, the will. That's why I always told y'all it don't matter what you are called. It's about your economics. Our ancestors been reclassified over 12 times, but no matter what, we always had farms, libraries, schools, wealthy neighborhoods, and we was always doing for ourselves, and we ain't have to work for no corporations. Motherfuckers was coming and nigga had to come through us type shit. All of this other stuff. No matter what, they called us. They called us Indians, Negroes, Afro-Americans. They called us whatever the fuck it was. Our ancestors went out and got self-determination. And they built whatever community. Whether it was a colored Wall Street, Negro Wall Street, purple, blue, green Wall Street. Whatever it was. Our ancestors built it. This is why labels don't really fucking matter for real. And if we keep being hung up on these labels all day, we ain't gonna get nowhere. It's just a never-ending hamster wheel of who the fuck is who. You niggas ain't Indians. You niggas ain't this. You niggas ain't that. I'm this. I'm that. I'm da-da-da-da. And this book from the 1400s said da-da-da-da. And that shit ain't gonna get us nowhere. It ain't gonna get us nowhere. It would have got us somewhere by now. It ain't even about what you call. It's about what you do. That's the game. It ain't about what you call. It's about what you do. White people ain't even white people. There is no such thing as white privilege. There's classism. It's always about classism. Racism is a distraction. What's that? Oh, racism is a distraction. There's no such thing as race. The people who created this whole race, they don't even believe in this shit. This why the people that's doing to you is white, black, Asians, fucking Somalians, is Africans, niggas is Anunnaki and Martians, nigga. These niggas don't believe in race. It's about classism. Classism. Economics talk, bullshit walk, aren't you? You know what I'm saying? The moment our people understand that, the moment we can start being free. $2.6 trillion that we generate a year. Niggas could have been free a long time ago. 2.6 trillion a year. Niggas could have been free 10 years ago. If we knew how to tap in. You know what I'm saying? If we knew how to tap in. But we got these pseudo organizations that's leading our people astray. And got our people talking about, you know, UCC codes and motherfucking straw man and resending birth certificates and niggas becoming paper terrorists. And then you got other niggas on the corner dressed in purple screaming at motherfuckers and shit like that. Like, all these organizations is leading our people astray, got us on the hamster wheel. Ain't none of this shit is building the economics for our people. That shit need to be over with. What's up,
Facts.
Marty?
What up? Peace, peace. Yeah, man. These people are literally being exposed as we speak. All these people you just talked about, all these fake pseudo people that's on TikTok. You got to show your genealogy because eventually it's gonna come to who can show their genealogy is the people that's gonna be able to stay in America. And all y'all authenticate your birth certificate, niggas. Y'all going home first.
I'm
Y'all gonna be
telling
the
you.
first to go.
And it's crazy because they don't even know that this shit started from a circus. They don't even know that shit.
And yeah, the Moors High and Simple, they like number one and number two on the FBI terrorist watch list. Like, so keep evolving yourself with these red feds people. Half, like I said earlier, half of these niggas can't tell you what dynasty they from, let alone where that feds come from.
Man, most of these niggas can't even tell you who they second and third grandmama is. But yet instead they know these niggas. They can't tell you who they second and third grandmama is, but they know that they come from an ancient ass civilization called the Moors. But they don't know who their grandmamas is though. Come on, man.
Exactly. Soon I ain't seen one of these Moors yet pull out some genealogy.
These niggas
By
probably
now we should at least seen one of these dudes.
these niggas probably be spitting in the tube and shit. Thinking they Moors from Nigeria.
Yeah, they from Africa, so off top, you know what I'm saying? They already checked out the box. They already didn't. That's another thing as far as checking boxes. When you be rescinding your birth certificate and all that little special stuff these Moors be telling you to do, there is no box to change your race to Moor.
Nope.
It's an American Indian, white or black.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't no Moor box.
Unless you're gonna mark white, which means you're Arab.
Most of them, that's what they mark. They mark YT.
You know what's crazy though? Even when they mark YT, corporations change that shit to black, so it don't even matter. And I know I watched it done at plenty jobs. I'll mark other on some of them, and then next time I get my shit, that shit'll be like they'll go back and mark it as black and shit like that. Like a lot of these corporations.
Lookership. The whole world use lookership. They don't really know where people be from. Like if you like you said, nigga do a social experiment on here, and you just like ask white people and Mexicans and all this where they people come from. Every one of them will tell you somewhere different.
I'm telling you.
So how's it one people? How's it a one people called YT? These people from all over the place.
All over the motherfucking place. I'm talking about nigga. All over the damn place.
I'm just trying to figure it out. When is we gonna stop with the lies and start living in the truth?
Mm-hmm. It's time for real, bro.
These people, yeah, these people want to tie some Morocco, man. All that peace and friendship treaty shit ain't got nothing to do with y'all chicken bucket hat niggas.
The KFC hat.
Ain't got nothing to do with y'all.
For real. It ain't got shit to do with it, bro. And the crazy thing is that they'll be trying to show the president standing next to the Moroccan flag and the American flag, but what they don't show you is the Arab nigga that he be shaking hands with.
Mm-hmm. This is the reason why 7-Eleven is in every store. I mean, every neighborhood around the United States, and ain't no melanated people working there. There's Arabs and Africans, just Arabs and
Oh,
Africans. Ain't no copper colored Americans in there.
and the 7 Up that's ran by Arabs and a little Hindus because both of them niggas cool. They also have gas stations called speedways in some of these
Mm-hmm.
places. Like
Bruh,
here
you
where
know
I'm
what else
at.
they just bought? They just bought
Uh,
all the Motel Sixes.
all right, man, the hotels, bro. These niggas they got damn near all the hotels up here where I'm at. I'm talking about you can't go into a hotel without the motherfucker on in that bitch. Like for real.
Like,
And
just makes sense.
that's the
That's the
friendship.
peace and friendship treaty right there in
Yeah.
plain sight. That's how they're able to operate and do business. But the kicker, you supposed to be the one receiving the benefits of them coming over here doing business, but they charge you and you don't get nothing.
Mm-hmm. The the jug, the jug is all these foreign people before they overthrew us in the 1800s. All these foreigners that was coming over here, they had to pay us, right? Um, as American Indians because we're not being taxed, we're getting paid tax type shit. Now, the United States or the Union States at that time, aka the Feds, they overthrow us. Now these niggas is the biggest pretendians because now what? Your president is called what? The chief, right? When you got the chief of defense, you got the head chief and all this chief shit that's coming from our American government. These niggas are the biggest pretendians in plain sight on some government shit, and they reaping what supposed to be your shit, like Swarthy said.
And look, sending it off to every country around the world. They send it. They've been boy. If you look at that list of like the Doge list of all the little wasteful spending they've been doing, we could have been if it was a reparations for us, they could have been gave us that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that restitution is what we really need to be talking about. We got to restore that.
Mm-hmm. I need the keys. I need y'all to get up out the office and pass the keys over. That's what I need y'all to do. And like I said, okay, we got the movement popping. We, everybody, quote unquote, American Indians now. But the key thing, we ain't won yet until the land is back in our hands. That's when I'm gonna be celebrating.
Mm-hmm. Which means niggas got to start focusing on these corporations and that motherfuckers like Pan Africans. We need to look. I've been sitting back, bro, for the longest, and I just been watching shit. A lot of this shit is just distractions when niggas want to argue with these little groups, FBA, all that shit distraction, bro. All this energy that we be pouring into debating and going back and forth with niggas, man, we could have been coming together, boots on the ground, really getting some shit together with our economics and building some shit and putting the corporation on some real notice like, yeah, nigga, we figured that shit out. You feel me? And then like from there, man, whatever happens, goddamn it, be ready type shit. But at the end of the day though, man, like we ain't gonna go nowhere just arguing with motherfuckers and trying to prove some shit that
Yeah,
niggas don't even
that's
care.
time wasting tactics that these people use
That's it.
to keep us in a loop. Like we've
Yeah.
been in a loop for
The hamster
basically
wheel.
5 years, doing the same shit, arguing with niggas every day about our genealogy and our indigeneity.
That's the
So
hamster
that
wheel.
right there is a trick bag.
Yeah, that's that control opposition hamster wheel. Like these niggas been watching us from the day, like, okay, when they wake up, we got this to deploy. Cause the COINTELPRO, the document that I read to everybody, they say that they plan 10 years ahead of some shit. So niggas got a file called just in case niggas wake up. And ironically, niggas did wake up. So now it's like, okay, break the case, deploy the just in case niggas wake up strategy, which is distract, delay, procrastinate, hamster wheel shit. And and what's the best way to do all that? Create drama. Why? Because niggas like drama. If you wanna
Yep.
distract
And
the
now I'm
nigga,
starting to think.
drama.
Look, now I'm starting to think they send certain people in to create that drama.
Mm-hmm. They do.
Certain That's why certain people on this app can't do a genealogy because they came in as an agent.
Mm-hmm. And this is why a lot of people who used to be American Indian last year, niggas is FBA today and shit like that. Motherfuckers been flip flopping, and then some people just disappeared and went to another platform and became somebody
Mhm.
else. Yeah, that
Niggas
shit.
been turned to natives and all kind of stuff. You know how these folk do on here.
Mhm. I'm telling you, nigga, but these agents is for real. Like, we don't be knowing niggas for real on this app. You think a niggas inside their room, they probably inside their cubicle on live, nigga.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's spicy out here. We've been telling people about like all these social media, like social media stars all be in one house.
Hmm.
That means
I
this
get
is
it.
rigged. This shit rigged. This ain't organic. Like when it started, TikTok was organic. Like if you really grind it, you can get your numbers up. Now this shit ain't organic. They picking and choosing.
Bro, like, man, they definitely I know they picking and choosing, but I've been at 49.6K supporters for like a year and a half, bro. And like people are hitting the follow button, but the numbers not moving up type shit. So that already lets me know, okay, them boys, them boys got me type shit. Um, there's a YouTube house where all the big YouTube social media stars, they all live in this one big ass house, and they all be doing whatever y'all be seeing they do, all in this one big ass house. There's a TikTok house where all your major TikTok influencers that you be coming across, that them niggas living at one house and all that type of shit, for real. Like, this is real shit. We ain't even making none of this stuff up. A lot of these people are agents.
Mm-hmm. That's
Prices
why
ask.
these niggas be on live all day long because this is their job.
This is their, yeah.
We doing this shit as a meantime between time. Let me drop some gems and kick it with my folks type shit. These niggas is really working a job, getting paid a salary. That's why
Yeah.
they going so hard and being up. Like '05, he'll be in 3 different lives at the same time. This nigga come in this live, and then if natural live, he'll be in natural live. He'll be in 3 or 4 different lives at the same time. I've seen them. How
And be on
nigga?
the
How many
panel.
phones you got?
And
And
be
he
on the
running the
panel.
panel. He's running the panel. He be running
Yeah.
the panel while doing all this.
And there's a few people who, bro, there's a few people who be doing that shit. Like I'll be on live and somebody will come in, right? And it'll be at the end. I'll be like 5-10 seconds before I end it. Boom, seeing somebody come in doing. As soon as I end it, this person is on the panel. I'm like, nigga, how you get on the panel in
Yeah,
five
how you
seconds?
got on the panel that damn fast? Yeah. Hey,
I ain't gonna
yeah,
say no
man.
names,
Hey,
but I just be like, bro, how you get on that motherfucker so quick, bro? It
I don't
be,
know what type of phone they got. How they TikTok set up.
bro, like motherfuckers be operating with these multiple, man, this shit crazy. I'm trying to tell you, it's agents out here like that for real.
We got infiltrated. I'm gonna tell you when we got infiltrated. I can pinpoint the time period, not exactly the day, but around the time period. It was right before that Discord shit with Goddess TV and Godly. It was right. We got infiltrated around that time.
The first season of love of Love and TikTok. Yep. The first season of Love and TikTok was when we got infiltrated. That's facts. I'm talking about like we got bombarded with all type of agents over there because it was at that time
Mm-hmm.
you had all the greatest minds on one platform teaching. I'm talking about the lives that used to have all the great ones on the panel at the same time. Them live numbers used to be up to like 1,000 motherfuckers in there just listening, getting all types
Exactly.
of feelings from all
You know,
types
we
of.
used to be crazy. We had like a low key unspoken respect for each other. Where if I seen somebody live, I wouldn't go live because they was live, and I would just join their panel instead of going on my own live. And then when they live would end, I
Yep.
would start a live, and then my live would end. Somebody else. That's how we was keep it going.
Yep.
It got to a point where niggas was like, "Fuck that nigga, I'm going live while he live. I don't give a damn."
It was
I
organized.
remember people when we first started doing that. People used to say, "Man, I can't watch all y'all lives at the same time."
And that's the reason why we did it like that, because and it was organized too. Like, we had specific times where a lot of people will go on and whoop de whoop whoop topics and stuff like that, open panels, and man, that shit was real organized. And then like soon as we got infiltrated on some agent shit was when the brown girl pride start coming through. The other people who was pretending to be Indians but never showed no genealogy
Mm-hmm.
start coming through, and they was all about
The
drama.
Joyas of the world,
Yeah, all these niggas
the
started coming.
'05s. This around when '05 and Joya was just in the chat. They didn't even have 1,000.
Yeah.
They was just in the chat trolling.
Hmm. Yeah, man, but that COINTELPRO shit is deep. Anytime. anytime real conscious American Negroes start to link up, COINTELPRO is not that far behind. I'm telling you, like, niggas is like, they really be watching for the day that we unite and start getting some shit going, because we are an economic threat. We are more of an economic threat than anything. Like, niggas is not scared of you physically or none of that. They scared of us getting our shit together. Like, real talk.
That's what they more worried about.
They worried about us getting our shit together. And then by us getting our shit together, because inside this matrix, money talk, bullshit walk, right? And a lot of these niggas is loyal to the economics and not really to the person. So just think, if we would have got our shit together in $2.6 trillion that we harness as a nation, how many nations would just flip and become our allies off of the fact that niggas got some dust type shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, the Philippines is trying to link up. Cool, nigga, we got y'all like 1 trillion or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas is feeding other nations of our people, like how we used to do. We used to get that money and we used to disperse it. This is why we was cool with the West Indies, and we used to trade with a lot of West Indians and shit. And you'll catch us over there in the Pacific trading and doing all that, and we building and forming these empires that we're reading about. Like, everybody that was tied to us and tied to the empires that we had connection, they suffered the same fate that we suffered. You know, they all got hit with alcohol. They all got hit with drugs. They all broke up the family household. They all get COINTELPRO. They all got race divisions, and they got the same shit that we got going on. Everybody who used to fuck with us. Like, real talk. So shit, this shit deeper than that. Because once we get our shit together, we are the most influential people in the world. Everybody else gonna get their shit together. That's a fact. For real. Once we get our shit together, everybody else gonna get their shit together. Think about it. When we started vibrating low, everybody started vibrating low. We came up with gangster music. Now everybody a gangster.
Just think about how TikTok, because like I said this the other night, people was already doing this Indian stuff, but it wasn't popping. Dan Calloway and all these niggas was out, but it wasn't popping like how it's popping now. We made this pop because what it was regular people like us, like everyday people that ain't got a million followers and all that, dropping gems. And you like, damn, I could drop gems too. Let me go on his panel and deal with him. And that's spread. It didn't spread because of no celebrities. That's another thing I loved about TikTok. It was no celebrities over here.
Nah, man, the
It
celebrities
was
was
about the
watching
people.
us. The celebrities
Yeah.
started watching us and talking
Yeah.
about us over here. Like, so.
All day on TikTok, you got Lil Wayne on here now. Nicki Minaj be on here. Like, man, take your eyes back to Instagram, Twitter, or whatever y'all was on. You
Man,
go back where that blue check was at.
what's that, Lola? Peace. I'm telling you.
Peace, Lola.
Yeah, bro, this shit. So, and and this is why, like I love when we dissect history, we deal with the psyop and the psychological aspect of it, because that's the thing that's really plaguing and got our people stuck. Is we're on this hamster wheel of trying to dissect a history that never even existed, and that's the joke. Like, think about it. As an evil villain sitting back watching motherfuckers, ain't nothing funnier than people debating, arguing, fighting, and trying to just dissect some shit that never even happened. Columbus talked about me. He talked about me. The jug is that nigga, he ain't never even existed. Gotcha. Well, what now? Shit. Figure it out, nigga. What now? Where do that leave you once you figure out that a lot of that shit in history didn't even exist? Where do it leave you mentally? Like, real shit, mentally. That shit kind of feels a little empty when you think about it a little bit. You're like, damn, okay, so So what happened then? Ain't nothing happened. Y'all gotta understand that there was a large famine, malnutrition, ice ages, and black plagues, and all this type of shit that was going on.
Yes. Like, so how, if the world was frozen, I mean the ocean was frozen, how was people taking wooden boats across a frozen ocean?
That's why you ain't got no slave ships nowhere, because motherfuckers wasn't going nowhere. Like, we're talking about in a time frame. Like, let's keep it logical. We talking about in a time frame because we talking about Europeans came over here around these times, which they really didn't for real. Because, like I said, a a, a third of Europe got wiped out by the Black Plague themselves. Okay, and that's just a third. Another quarter got wiped out in Europe because of famine, my G. The number is already high. So you're talking about a time where there's an ice age, there's famine, there's all type of diseases and going on, and billions and millions of bodies is piling up over there. And you telling me that this the same time frame that they got the strength to build boats, hop on that motherfucker, sail across the Atlantic for 3 to 6 months, no water, come over this bitch, land, seen niggas, and was like, okay, boom, land of milk and honey. Guess what? Damn, we need some more niggas. So they hopped back on the boat. Hold on, matter of fact, they destroyed the boats, built new boats, hopped their ass back across the Atlantic, landed in Africa, grabbed some new niggas, hopped back on a wooden boat, went back to America, dropped them niggas off. Bro, come on, my G.
Okay, let's think. All right, everything you just said. All right, let's think on the business wise, and we talking logistics. Logistically, that wouldn't be feasible to make money off. All that travel, you done spent all kind of money just traveling and going back and forth, and you ain't even got nobody yet.
And, and swarthy. And guess what? Niggas still ain't got no food or no water. Because when did niggas eat?
Then you still got them get them back to America healthy enough to get on that auction block and get sold.
But
Because we all seen the videos of the auction block where they, depending on how healthy you look, is how much money they can get for you, right?
but we can't forget that the Europeans was going through sickness and disease, plague, smallpox, and all that. So these niggas was contagious. So how are you transporting people healthy, quarantine away from motherfuckers who's capturing you, who's already contagiously sick with some shit that they can pass on? Some ain't adding up. If I got 50 niggas inside of a Prius and 2 niggas got smallpox, you think I'm about to make it to California with nobody with it? Come on, man. All right.
Yeah, that's not mathematically possible. Like, come on, we talking time like where it's basically like no policing of the world. The world is wide open, and you mean to tell me these people was organized in that moment, but wasn't organized in no other points? Like they didn't get no like big jugs of water, and like Mofax said a long time ago, he said they was barbecuing on the boat. That's how they was able to feed people. They was barbecuing fish.
I remember that shit. Bruh, I was in the comments dying. All of us was like, what the fuck this nigga just said? He said niggas was barbecuing on the boat, my nigga.
That's what I said. They be logical, and then when it comes to this story, they get real illogical with the story. Like barbecuing on a boat. Come on, man. On a wooden boat
Cooking fire on a wooden boat that can catch
in the
fire.
middle of the ocean. In the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, the roughest seas in the world, where like it's 50-foot waves and shit. That could put your barbecue out with one little splash.
Doing hurricane season for some of the times. And doing
Oh
tsunami
yeah.
season for the other
They
times.
had rice in their hair too.
Oh yeah, the niggas had rice in their hair coming over here.
I almost forgot that part. We left that part out.
Oh, hold on. How can we forget about niggas on the canoes though? So niggas was
Oh
barbecuing
shit.
on canoes.
50,000 deep on the canoe. I'm still with like I put out a challenge a long time ago. So I will cash out somebody $10 if they could show me a hundred person canoe. It could be a modern canoe. Show me a canoe that can fit 100 people.
Bro, look, these niggas is lies on top of lies. And
Been having this challenge out for like a year now. Ain't nobody sent me a picture yet.
and the crazy thing about it, dog, like the crazy thing is not even the story that they trying to brainwash you with. The crazy thing is the motherfuckers that believe this shit. I be like, I know y'all done got scammed by Nigerians. If y'all believe this story, I know y'all done sent a nigga $50 thinking y'all was gonna flip it to 500. I know y'all the niggas that was making these niggas rich, cause ain't no way in hell you believe this shit. 1860s, wooden boats, no cameras. Hold on, why the fuck would I have a wooden boat in 1860s when I got steamboats? Nigga, the Titanic was on its way. Make it make sense, bro. According to the pots and pans, the Atlantic wasn't that aggressive around that time. Man, how they know?
And look, according to 1816 in the Little Ice Age, the Atlantic was frozen during that time.
Man, what? That shit was frozen. Like a motherfucker. Wasn't nobody coming across nothing unless you was walking a dog sledding. Which would be the perfect time that the Native Americans was coming over. Because they was coming over when there was an ice bridge.
hmm So that explains the migration from Siberia.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The little ice age. I want to touch more onto it because we ain't really read the whole book. We read a few pages and did our little diggings and stuff like that. And we took some time off so people can digest, because I know that's probably some shit like a lot of folks was like, hold on, they said when this shit
hmm
happened? I said 1420. Hold on, 1420, nigga.
So that take the whole slavery story away. The whole time, the whole transatlantic slave story have to be erased now because the world was frozen during that whole period
And so
from
now
1400 all the way to 1860s, like 1840s, somewhere around there where it started unthawing.
so
Make this
now
make sense.
so now you got to incorporate the phantom dark age theory, which the phantom dark age theory tells you that the phantom period that was fabricated was the dark ages. The dark ages stretch all the way up to like the 1500s, maybe 1600s type ordeal, right? So boom. So after you done fabricated those time frames of 300, 400, 500 years, then you start adding on some other shit from 16 to the 1800s, because when you get to the 1900s, the world was warming back up around 1900s, because the little ice age unthawed 1860, mud flood, whoop de whoop whoop. 1900s come, that's when everybody start getting summer all over again and it start warming up. So like, for it's something to dig into. It's something to dig into. And it breaks down the famine, the malnutrition and stuff, the billions of bodies that was piling up. That shit was crazy over there in Europe.
hmm That explain all them bones in the catacombs.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it actually do too. A lot of those bones inside the catacombs was the little ice age bodies. Yep, facts.
That's
Telling you.
why I be thinking that's why they got to push that slavery story on us so bad because they don't want you to know the real, true story of a lot of these people really coming from incubator babies. Because let's be real, if it was an ice age, that means millions of people unalive. That means wasn't nothing but a handful of people left. The survivors, you know what I'm saying? The survivors of survivors. So a lot of these people was remade and repopulate. So that's why you got all kind of pictures and videos of people popping out in these cities acting like they never seen a beach before. Because
Because
this beach is It's beaches all in Europe, so you can't say ain't no beaches in Europe. That's why they never seem to be. But it's beaches in France and everything.
Mhm. So so now you said the little ice age lasted all the way to 1860. Now you start getting into that time frame with the incubator babies, Ellis Island, the new people coming over here because of the famines and steamboats was in, the water started to unthaw a little bit. So they was able to come over here. But we can't forget about the air travel because people was being brought over here through blimps and shit too. Um, so man, Pete Gang, dog, this shit get real crazy, but it fits inside the timeline because now we know that your population of so-called YT people suffered a massive decline. You know what I'm saying? We talking about like just like how I ran it down earlier, like a quarter passed away from famine, and like a third passed away from the Black Plague, and then another quarter passed away from typhoid fever and shit like that. Right? That's a lot of motherfuckers, right? So the repopulation, incubator babies, those who was left over. Hey, we need y'all eggs and your semen. We about to become quote unquote Yakub around this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And boom. So that's why these niggas don't be remembering history, because these niggas is the first clones. Which later is the reason why clones was outlawed, because after they generated a lot of the numbers, now okay, we don't need to clone nobody
They
for
ain't
real,
need
for
them
real.
no
Like,
more. And if you think
mm-hmm.
about it, all right, those first generation clones, okay, the incubator babies, they had children. Then they children had children, which became the baby boomers.
Yep, yep, the baby boomers, facts.
This by time the baby boomers hit is where they got the cloning so good to where these people can reproduce now.
Mm-hmm.
Because clones can reproduce. Well, originally they couldn't reproduce, but now they can reproduce.
There you go. Yep, yep, they definitely can. Mm-hmm. Man, look. And it's crazy how you can track the whole timeline like that, because now when you get to the baby boomers, because it was booming with babies, motherfuckers just popping out left and right, right and left, boom, 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 right? Them niggas, the last when you get to the last era of the incubator babies, them niggas turned the knob on high produce. Baby booming, boom, 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 niggas start popping out, right? Because now around that time frame, you start getting these old cartoons and old stories and postcards of the stork dropping off babies and stuff like that, which will be orphan trains. Well, it'd be symbolic for the orphan train. They just dropping off babies at doorsteps and shit, because there was so many of them, white and black. Don't get it twisted. It was some niggas too that was being incubated.
Yeah, definitely. I got pictures of the the black incubator babies. It's
Mm-hmm.
whole trains of them.
Yep. The last year of the boomers was 1964. And then what happened, Vaughn? Niggas get hit with roots and shit. And all type of other COINTELPRO and Black Panthers. You start getting hit with a lot of this stuff. And then when you look at this time frame and these microfilms of how these so-called YT people was just beating us and eating us and doing all this type of stuff, you be like, damn, these niggas are some soulless niggas. These niggas was incubator babies. You have to be a soulless motherfucker to be the type of police that these niggas was back then. And just soulless people. These was the incubator babies of the babies. Soulless people
Hmm.
are reproducing soulless people.
Hell yeah. Look, that's why these same people was around here eating the mummies and stuff like that, thinking that they can get the powers of the mummies. I think they was thinking if they eat the mummies, they can get a soul or something.
Hey, we never touched on the incubators overseas, because there was incubators in Europe and over there around the Egypt area. It was incubator stations set up around this motherfucker. It wasn't even just America. I always thought it was just America, but that shit was everywhere.
Yeah, especially in Asia. How y'all think China got 1 billion people?
Ah,
Okay.
yeah. And the
Okay.
crazy, bro. The crazy
Okay.
thing. Nobody ever thought about the math. China had this one child law, but niggas got a billion motherfuckers off of one child type shit. The math ain't mathing, bro. Black Americans and Latinos reproduce like rabbits, and we ain't even hit a billion, bro. But these niggas got one child law, and they somehow a billion motherfuckers. And niggas be eating some weird shit in some of those damn Chinese places, bro. I'm talking about like live squid with the beak on it. Some weird shit they be eating. So peak game.
Smothered in ocean water. Like, bro, what? Like, you ain't even cook that? Nah, you just put a little lemon juice on there.
A little lemon juice, nigga. Nigga be eating fried platypus and shit. That shit is stupid.
Look, baked hippopotamus and stuff, and they be looking at you like it's something wrong with you eating chicken.
Man, like real talk, bro. Like all y'all inside here, if y'all want a side quest in y'all off time, just research the different places that had these babies being incubated. You'll be surprised, dog. You'll be real surprised. You'll be like, damn, that shit crazy. And it was the repopulation. So this why I always tell people, like, take this shit that happened in America and just make it global, because it happened everywhere. Because now when we talk about the incubator babies, we ran it down to Jim Crow and the baby boomers and stuff. We forgot one major thing, that Russia and Germany and dude with the funny mustache, he liked the shit that was going on over here, and he started doing it over there. Trying to
Yeah, that's where
create.
he learned eugenics and stuff from. He
Trying to,
learned that shit from Margaret Sanger and all them.
yep. And he was trying to create a super race, right? That sound like some MK Ultra a Manchurian candidate type shit. All right, so P game. P game. That shit went global, man. That shit went. Man, real history is wild, bro. When you put this shit in real timeline order and you take out the bullshit, it starts to make sense for real. That's why you ain't got no slave story.
That's why we like. I like the other day I was at work and it was just like this older lady. She spoke. Well, this is about a month ago. It was this older lady that sat next to me, and she spoke Spanish. So I'm like, damn, you Afro Indigenous or you one of these Black Mexicans or whatever? So we started talking and stuff, and then she started talking that blackety black stuff, and then I said I'm American Indian. You should have seen the look on her face. Like she wanted me to, cause she was, yeah, we should. That's the problem. We should all voted for Kamala. She's a black woman and all this stuff. And she started saying all this black people, and I'm like, hold on, who the hell is black? Like, hold on, we ain't gonna keep doing this black talk.
Man, hell
I'll
no.
let you slide a few times, but you ain't gonna keep pushing it on me.
Not at all, bro. That shit be wild, man. So this shit crazy, but corporations, organizations, secret societies,
Mm-hmm.
man,
You'd be surprised who be involved in this stuff.
man,
Old grandmas is Eastern Stars and all that shit be into the fuckery.
man. My sister, Eastern Star, man. The day she became an Eastern Star and she pulled up with that star all on her car interior, I started looking at her sideways a little bit. I was like, all right. She was like, what you mean? I was like, all right, you better not try to sacrifice me. I know what's up, y'all. Like, I ain't playing none of that. But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of that is inside my family though. Like, my auntie Eastern Star, our great grandmamas was Eastern Stars. I got grandfathers that was Masons and stuff. And this is why, like, I start coming to the conclusion. I'm like, damn, infiltration happened from the inside. Our elders sold us out, bro.
Yeah. Facts. I think a lot of them did it out of fear.
Yeah,
Let me get in these groups so I can hide in plain sight.
Yeah. And you know it's out of fear because just growing up in the South, how some of my family members of the older generation talk, you be like, nigga, what you scared of white folks or something? Because they be like, just when you out there, just get you a job, work, just keep your head down and don't question nothing. I'm like, nigga, what the fuck is this? Ain't slave day? What the hell you talking about? It just,
Yeah, hey, I ain't gonna hold you. Not to be disrespectful to none of my elderly people that's born in 1950, 60. I threw in the towel on y'all generation. Y'all so scared of white tea people. It's ridiculous.
man. So I just be looking at it like, damn, that's crazy. And then I be talking to my grandmama about this stuff sometime, and like when the conversation get good, my grandma, man, she get to talking, and I be like, so you know all this? She be like, yeah, you ain't know this? I'm like, you ain't teach me. What you talking about? I ain't know this. What you thought the school was gonna teach us? Come on, grandma, what did you? She was like, well, yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
They trusted the government. They trusted the government, the same people that reclassified you and stole your identity. You trusted them to educate your children.
man.
That's
I
how I
was
know they had. Look, they had to been high, bro. Because just think about the Ari. Just think about it, Ari. 1960s, we battling. Then the 70s hit, and everybody just partying, and you know what I'm saying. It's the Parliament in the Funkadelic area, and disco was the other shit that's popping at the same time. So that was the party era. They was just getting high. That's that Bill Cosby. Let me put something in your drink era.
And then you had the LSD era too, the acid and shit.
That's what I'm saying. Boys, they talk about us. Well, what's going on now? Nah, that shit started with y'all.
Boy, that shit. For real, dog. Like, and I ain't trying to say like all of them sold aside. I believe that the elders who was trying to drop breadcrumbs, their counterparts who was the elders who was selling niggas out, was putting the hit out on motherfuckers. Because it gotta come from the inside. Like, how do you know that Malcolm X gonna be at this specific time, talk to these specific people, or whatever? Like, how do you know where Fred Hampton lived at, my nigga, specifically type shit? Like who
Hmm.
gave you the first dime? Like, oh yeah, that nigga stayed down the street, and you start watching them from that point on. Like, somebody had to gave you the dime, and it had to come from the inside. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on,
Yeah,
bro.
it's always an inside. It's always an inside job because they can't. We'll see them coming a mile away. Just like when these white people or these natives or whoever the ops at that particular point is, we always see them coming a mile away. We see them in the chat as soon as they walk in. You know what I'm saying? But if it's somebody that look like us, we gonna give them a pass.
Yep. Mm.
Infiltrators. And it's the new battleground now, social media. So they definitely all up in these folks holding whole live streams acting Indian. They secretly working for the government.
And the narrative or the topic that I'm about to start getting on in probably the next few weeks is gonna be shocking to a lot of folks inside of our community. And I kind of expect that I'm gonna lose a few folks, but niggas gotta know about so-called black people pretending to be about Indians, right? Yeah, I know that shit sound crazy about niggas who's claiming to be Indians, but a lot of these niggas ain't American at all. A lot of these niggas third, fourth, fifth generation Europeans, and third, fourth, fifth generation goddamn the Africans for real. Third, fourth, fifth generation Black Irish and German niggas. Like, a lot of these niggas, and they said Europeans pay $5 to be Indians. They ain't say white folks. They said Europeans. They go for the niggas too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a lot of niggas too pretending back then who's part of the improved order of the red man. That's why I told people, learn about the improved order of the red man. When you learn that they come from the Sons of Liberty, now go research about how many African Americans was part of the Sons of Liberty, who is the improved order of the red man, which is an organization of nothing but fucking pretendians. Some niggas ain't Indians inside this damn community. And we need to go back to showing our genealogy again. Fuck it. For real. Like, I ain't worried about nobody trying to screenshot my shit and pretend to be me, because you can't. You know what I'm saying? Because all my people say colored and Negro, nigga. So we need to go back, because if we don't go back, we just gonna get infiltrated all over again. Because at a certain point in time, when we was holding lives and we was showing our census records, you know how hard it was to infiltrate us before then? Because that was way before love and hip hop. When we all was showing our genealogy and teaching people the family tree and showing it, like, motherfuckers couldn't infiltrate us then. Cause we was proven. And when new people came around, they said they was Indians. We was like, bro, you gotta prove that shit. Oh, I ain't got my census records yet. Okay, well, come back by the end of the week. You got to have something, at least a third, fourth grandmama or something. You know what I'm saying? And some people did. Some people called us saying that we was on an ego trip or whatever the case may be. But nah, bro, we being cautious, because COINTELPRO is real. I'm saying that Voodoo Chief in the building. Peace, fam. Like, shit, COINTELPRO is real, bro. We got to take all precautions. We can't just be out here like, fuck it. Hell nah.
Hell yeah, you got niggas holding whole live streams showing ancient pyramids and ancient glyphs, talking about, look at me in the pyramid. I'm on the screen.
Hey, no, you did, bro.
I wouldn't know a nigga agent.
No, you did. My nigga, hey, Earth Speaks be out here wild, and that nigga be holding. This is me inside this pyramid right here. You see the beard? This is Donald Trump. He talked to me in a dream. You be like, come on, bro. Y'all believe this nigga?
And they be putting, yeah, we can see you. The chat be, I don't know if they be trolling or they dead serious. They show be putting, yeah, they can see it in, like, I've seen him when he do it. He be like, put a one in the chat if you can see me. And they be putting ones and they be putting earths in the chat. I'm like, these niggas is delusional.
Hey, they be dead serious, though. They be dead serious. Because when we get back into this book, Princess and the Prophet, and it's a chapter called Black Masonry. It says there's a group of Black Americans who want to feel accepted, so they would join any group and organization and hang on to every word. And we know that the shit that Earth Speaks be talking come from these niggas right here, right? When you start getting into that Anunnaki and all that type, that shit come from these Moor niggas, like real shit. And so that's why it's, man, look, a lot of our people want a leader, but they don't know who to follow. So they'll follow any motherfucker that sounds good and that is charismatic.
But that let me know that people are still not ready, because if you searching for a leader, like, you ain't ready. That's the wrong thing to be searching for. You should be the leader of your own household. And by you leading your own household, that's automatically going, you know what I'm saying, spread to other people. Like, all that, I'm trying to be the leader, or whoever, I'm following this person, he's the leader. That's retarded. That's, you know what I'm saying, that's redundant. That's like, we done that so many times. They basically take the leader out. What you gonna do when they take the leader out?
Man. So that's why I say, tell folks, I ain't no leader. I'm a teacher. And I don't call y'all my followers. I call y'all supporters, because I don't want nobody following me. But, you know, we can support each other, and we all can be leaders, and we all can be leading in our own way. Like, shit, if you a teacher, you can lead in that way. If you a builder, you can lead in that way. You know what I'm saying? If you a holistic healer, you can lead in that way. You know what I'm saying? You can lead, because it takes many leaders of many different talents to even form a nation and nationality, right? You know, if you a priest and priestess, a shaman, you can be a leader in that. If you good with economics and real estate and stocks and shit, you could be a leader in that. You know what I'm saying? But we gotta be willing. We gotta also be willing to iron sharpens iron and deal with constructive criticism. We gotta be able to correct one another when we wrong and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That also plays a part in holding accountability inside the nation as well. So, roll it if you got it. We on our last paper plane for the night, so y'all know what that means. By the end of it, the live will end. So we just gonna burn it
Yeah,
off.
you already know. People be moving off ego instead of moving off. You supposed to be moving off love and trying to build something. You can't build with ego. You can't build with hate.
Mm, definitely can't.
It would never be. It would never be successful. It would never prosper. You got to build with love and pure intentions.
Hmm. And I ain't even gonna lie, like I really hope one day we all can get back to how we was, bro, because it's so many great minds just on this app alone. I'm talking about like the amount of great minds that we have inside of our community just off this app, man. We'll run circles on anybody else on any other platform and shit. Like everybody's coming over here to get the gems. Like our folks have to
Mm-hmm.
understand the influence and power that we have over here with our Indian community, and we need to harness that shit. Cause like we, we like the best of the best type shit. Like we real down to
Hey,
earth.
y'all look. Y'all people, y'all Moors and all these people that like y'all get mad at y'all get listen, Los, they get mad at you and then they be mad at me because I don't know why they be mad at me. They be like, yo, man's Los. He said, I'll be like, man, I ain't say that shit. He said that shit.
Man,
They be mad at me.
the Moors,
Y'all gotta take that shit up with Los. Don't get mad at me. I ain't say it.
the Moors be mad. Look, man, I done lost so many people on this road who used to rock with me. The Moors mad and the Anunnaki niggas mad. Like, cause I don't talk about that shit no more. Cause you grow with information, and a lot of us was watching us grow in live time because niggas ain't like when I first got on this platform. I already told people I ain't got all the answers. Some of this shit I'm learning live time with y'all, but we gonna learn this bitch together. Like I already told people that. So when I started getting deeper into it, I was like, damn, hold on, something don't sound right. Then Swarthy had put me up on the gym about Dr. York and all of this because I already had uh the Stitchings books and stuff like that because I used to read from them and all that. But like once I learned about the Dr. York and how that shit tied into the sovereign citizens, which tied to the Nation of Islam, which tied to the Moorish Science Temple, which tied to this shit that we just learned about today in my background with Shriners and Freemasons and all these other motherfuckers, I was like, oh man, get the fuck out of here. And then niggas ain't got no proof of Yakub except for the shit that Dr. York done drew up. Come on, man. Hell no.
The same 19 set like that was a hustle too. In the 1970s, that was like, all right, like nowadays people be selling like the little flat tummy tea and all the little TikTok little hustles. Well, back in the 70s, before the internet, one of the hustles was, I'm an alien. I come from the planet Star System X. Follow me and give me your money. It's plenty of dudes that was doing that in the 1970s and 1960s. And they was only going after children. They wasn't going at adults with that shit because niggas are be like, man, get your goofy ass out of here with that.
Yeah.
So they was going at children. And that's how
Yeah.
Dr. York and all these people like him began their followings.
Hmm. You know, and then got that shit just be wild too. So like, niggas just grow from information and shit, cause we start learning the truth. Like I was on, yeah, I found my so-called Moor ancestor from Turk on live, like live time on TikTok and showed everybody. Cause all I knew was my grandfather was German, so I just thought German type shit. But I always knew that he had all this Muslim stuff, like Muslim rings, Purple Heart, war stuff, and all type of family heirlooms and shit that was tied to like real dynasty and Ottoman Empire type shit. And then when I did the genealogy, found it, put two and two together, and I was like, oh shit, went back grams.
Okay.
He was
Look,
like,
so
yeah.
why ain't no other Moors then came up and said, I got this, like a similar story to yours? It should be other Moors with a similar background story.
Niggas ain't
So
doing
your
that.
grandpa's the only nigga that came from Germany? He the only one, huh?
And that's crazy because Benjamin Franklin said it was a lot of black Germans that came over here.
That's what I'm saying. So this how I know people ain't done their genealogy. Boy, it should be some new stories out here by now. It should be some new, you know what I'm saying? Where's the
Yep.
new stories of people? I done my genealogy. I'm related to this person. Where's the new stories? The new videos?
Right. Cause I'm still going in mines. I'm still doing mines. I'm like, shit. Most of my family tree is American Indian, Shadas. I got some Yamasee in there, and Arawakan. And then I do got ancestors who came over here in Ellis Island, which would be my Irish ancestors and my German ancestors. So I got some Ellis Island ancestors.
Where's the? That's what I'm saying. Where's the stories? Like, why are you the only person saying this? That's what I'm trying to figure out. It got to be more people with a similar story. It just mathematically has to be.
It has to. I can't be the only motherfucker in America, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shit. 48%
This
of
shit
us got
makes
Irish
sense.
ancestors. So there's some other niggas with some Irish
That's
Ellis
what I'm
Island.
saying. Make this shit make sense. That's why I know these niggas don't. Because every time you hear one of these people talk on these panels, they be like, I'm Choctaw, I'm Cherokee. Nigga, it's other tribes, bro. It's 1,000 other tribes that you could have named.
It's definitely other tribes. And the crazy thing about doing census records, I've seen a few of other different tribes outside of the normal of what folks be claiming. I be looking at it, I'm like, damn, ain't nobody said they was part of this damn tribe. Damn, I ain't never even knew about this tribe right here. That's crazy. Going to the census
They
record.
just make sense. So that let me know people ain't really doing their genealogy. A lot of people just riding a wave of what we already established, and they like, okay, this is the cool thing to do now to claim American Indian. So when it ain't cool no more, because everything that's a fad goes away. When it ain't cool no more, what y'all gonna go back to being Pan Africans?
Yeah, them niggas gonna go back to being Africans and FBA, and niggas gonna go back to being goddamn Moors. Peace, Dave. What's happening?
Hey, salute, y'all. Salute. Just dropping in, hanging in there.
What up? What up?
What up? Nah, you right, man. Fuck, like this shit is already over. These motherfuckers are failing. There's no way that people are gonna become African now, especially since California pulled that money off the table for them to become African, and they're kicking Americans out of Africa. It's like, come on,
By the
everything is right
boatloads.
there. Yeah,
Ironically, by the boatloads.
yeah. Natives aren't even American. They're from
But look, wouldn't that
Siberia and
be the
shit. Like,
wouldn't that be the transatlantic slave trade right there?
Yeah, they failed. Like, yo, they failed, bro. This shit is over.
Man,
They sending them look, and the Nigerians is getting sent back, and they said they finna send back a whole bunch of more Africans, like 6, 7, 8 million more Africans. Boy, it's spicy out here.
Yeah,
That's all
I
I
was in
know.
I was in Sutan's live, and he had like nothing but 30 people in there. I think people are just like, yeah, we know that they lied, and they're just fading
Oh
away from me.
no, student told Penn, listen, all right, me, B for all, and Penn was on student's panel. This was about 3 weeks ago. And you know what I'm saying? Penn came up there, cussed me out, cussed B for all out. We didn't say nothing. So I stayed, B for all dropped. I stayed on the panel. I just was on mute. And she started talking to Susan, and she asked Susan, has he found an African in his family in his genealogy yet? He said, nah.
Of course not. Yeah, I heard his story already. He's from like Kansas or Arkansas or some shit like that.
Well,
His
so
family's from here. No African.
how are you Pan African?
Kansas.
Yeah, he's from like, yeah, I think it's Kansas or whatever.
Nigga, it's niggas in Kansas. What the fuck he doing?
He from Nebraska.
Bro, look,
He the
hold on.
illest. He the
Hey,
illest in Nebraska.
if his family roots is in Kansas, that nigga ain't got no ties to African or even the fucking like what nobody enslaved up there. Like,
It makes sense.
Hey, and that's not the first time he said it too. He said it on Imhotep's live. Imhotep, he had him relaxed in the live. He thought I wasn't even watching. Uh, he asked him, he said, hey man, in your family, did you ever find anybody that was African? He's like, nah, everybody's American. He thought he was relaxing, and then I hit request. I came up and I chewed him the fuck out. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing telling people that they African? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have no evidence, no proof of yourself being African, and you are here teaching people to become African. That's the wildest shit.
I'm trying to figure that shit out.
Man, somebody said,
Bofax said the same thing. He said his grandma. Bofax said his grandma is Cherokee.
It's no
So
mercy
like,
with those guys. With Pan Africans, there's no fucking mercy. Like, every time I step in their room, like, I'm chewing them the fuck out, bro.
man, look, it's no mercy for these Moors and shit. Somebody said, you see how corny he is? Kansas makes sense. I'm dead. That's true though. And it makes sense on why he date what he
like you
date.
said, let's be real, Los. If we in Kansas, where the spot at? Like to go get some trees. I don't know where no spot at out there. Where
Bruh,
the hood at?
I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. The name Kansas made me feel like I can't even ask nobody about no shit like that. I feel like I'm gonna get locked up. I don't feel
Hell
smart.
yeah! Oh, look, over a seed.
Bruh, like when niggas think about vacation, Kansas is not the spot, bruh. Nigga go to Utah and go skiing first. For real, like, or get a cabin or something. That's crazy. That's like saying you from Idaho.
I ain't
But
gonna lie though, Kansas City popping. I've been to Kansas City.
Kansas City is that shit dope. But man, look, the
The
place
rest of Kansas, yeah, I don't know about the rest of Kansas, but Kansas City definitely popping. But damn,
Yeah,
Kansas, my boy.
I think on the bottom line, yo, they teaching people how to give up their land. It's like, just give it up. It's a stick up, just give it up. It's okay. And motherfuckers rock with that shit.
and that's the same thing with the Moors and what I was exposing earlier, because sometimes when we do these lives we gotta tap back in one time, repetition the father of learning type shit. So what I'm saying, like when we get into like these books and stuff, man, I know it's small right now, but this shit just tell you that the Shriners and Prince Hall niggas is the reason why you got these niggas. And these niggas came from the World Fair as performers and actors, magicians and shit.
Hell yeah. Like those
Yeah,
natives
yeah.
and shit, like a lot of them
Drew
came from
Ali
that
used
World
to
Fair
swallow swords.
theater.
Yeah, Drew Ali. So you already know he was one of them flame eaters, sword swallowers.
Yeah.
He used to eat nails.
So the Masons, right? So like the Prince Hall Masons and the Shriners and shit, they was like, damn, we making a lot of money because it started off inside the Chicago Exposition Center or World Fair, right? Circus and all that type of stuff. And these niggas was selling out like 27 million admission tickets, which is probably a lot of damn money around that time, right? So they was like, damn, so we making money doing this shit right here. Just take it outside of the fair and try to scam some niggas into becoming this type shit.
Right. Look, who remember Kanye West album Life of Pablo?
Yeah, I remember
Do
that.
y'all even know who? Yeah, Pablo is Pablo Fanique. That's who he always talk about. Pablo Fanique used to run a circus in London. He was like a ringmaster.
That's crazy.
He was a melanated man. He ran one of the only melanated circuses in London.
And
It just made sense.
And then when Noble Drew Ali, when he was on his deathbed, right, he left a message telling members of the Moorish Science Temple that the agents or the feds had infiltrated, and a lot of your brothers ain't your brothers, and a lot of them are agents or whatever, and their goal is to take over and do something crazy to it, whatever. And then he passed away in jail mysteriously or whatever they said, from pneumonia or whatever. And then after he passed away, this is when you start getting this paper terrorist, sovereign citizen type of ordeal, which now is, these niggas is agent ran type of ordeal. At first, it was just about some costume reenactments, circus shit. Then it transformed into some COINTELPRO. Hey, I can get some niggas with this shit. And that's what they did. Just when you start getting all these weird people coming in, you know, Dr. Yorks, you start getting the Elijah Muhammad's, the Farrakhan's, you get the Wally Dodbar dude, you start getting a lot of these people. Then you start to understand why Malcolm X stepped away, and when he came back and told everybody, you know, because they wanted to know, like, why did you step away from the Nation of Islam? And he said, like, that's not real Muslim. That's not real Islam.
Hey, you know what I think, Los? I think Moors developed the system that we're in. Like this maritime law, because they're seafaring people. They were always going to different countries, different lands, and conquering them. Right? It's a myth, not a myth. It's like a legend that they never really lost a war. You know what I'm saying? Every war that they pretty much gave up on, they got paid for. Like that one in Spain. They got paid to leave. A lot of them got paid. That's why when they went to the Caribbean, the Spanish went to follow them to get back the money that they paid them, the gold and everything. That's how come when Florida got raided, it became the richest state on earth. It became the richest place, yo. All that gold was right there, and they just raided it.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I've been reading. I've been reading on the
This
Moors.
Pablo Fanique right here. This the nigga life of Pablo. This what Kanye West is talking about. This dude right here. He was a black hidden hand nigga. This nigga was rich as fuck off the circus. And already like the bearded lady and all them weird oddities. He was known for that type shit. Like the dude with the whipped up back was even in his circus before.
Well, oh, and they had a lot of slave narratives inside the World Fair too. Yeah, they definitely had that jumping off in the World Fair. So that shit ain't nothing new. Them trying to make niggas slaves.
Yeah, the World Fair is a real gem because that was during the time of Reconstruction and when they were building all these dams and everything. That was late 1800s, early 1900s. Right around that time was when everything just got flipped.
Yeah, and when you reconstruct history, you got to
Them
use
bred in circuses and they'll never revolt.
Yeah, when you reconstruct history, you got to use propaganda and psyops. So that's where theater, fairs, plays, and all this type of stuff. This is where your Nat Turner story come from, which was a pamphlet story that was from the World Fair. That nigga ain't never existed. Niggas didn't even eat that nigga.
Harriet Tubman the same way. How she on the run, but she got time to stop and do speeches everywhere.
A lot of these people did not even exist, and a lot of these was characters created during the World Fair. Facts.
I wonder about Harriet Tubman, man. I don't know, cause like, you know, like they teach this story so hardcore, and then she's following stars and shit, and the drinking gourd. That shit is all here, but I can't see it really, like thinking it's a lie. You know what I'm saying? Maybe somebody like her did exist, and they just switched the name. Like her name was something else.
Nah, I don't think she existed.
Nah, she didn't exist. That's why they wanted to put her on money. Everybody they put on money are fictional characters.
What about the Underground Railroad? We do have a lot of underground trainways.
All right, Los know about Atlanta. When I was like probably like 10 or 11 years old, they took us on a field trip to Underground Atlanta, and they told us that was the Underground Railroad. You know where Underground Atlanta at, Los? Downtown Atlanta.
Yeah, I know that shit. Yeah, with the Underground
Like
Mall.
this shit.
Hey, look.
Underground Railroad.
The reason why I say that she don't, I believe she don't exist because again, a lot of these so-called slave narratives is during the Little Ice Age time. So when people research and know about the Little Ice Age, that's gonna cancel out a nice 300 years of what you think slavery happened, and then you got to incorporate the phantom timeline of the Dark Ages, where they fabricated the Dark Ages, which leads all the way up to the 1500s type shit. So we got all these timelines that's false, all these characters that's not real. If Abraham Lincoln is not Abraham Lincoln, and that nigga name is Philip Stevens, and there's a whole census record on this nigga. You can pull him up. His name is Philip Stevens. That's who is playing Abraham Lincoln on your $5.
That nigga was a circus
That's
actor.
my point, Los. You're
He
proving
was a circus actor, wasn't he?
Well, what I was saying is like how Abraham Lincoln was actually a black guy, and they put Stephen in as a fit-in, like color and everything, right? I'm saying that she could have been real, just another name and everything, just to try to cover up what it really was.
But the thing,
Because they do shit like that.
Oh, I know what you mean, like the actual, you know, like, yeah, because every story we ever heard was based on a real person, but they, you know, they had MK Ultra into it and flipped the story.
So, Vaughn said the time frame from the Little Ice Age was from 1300s to 1860. But here's the thing though with the Abraham Lincoln. I'm gonna be real. I don't even think that black nigga even existed either. Because check this shit out, bro. Check this shit out. The reason why I don't believe that is because when you go down the rabbit hole of so-called Abraham Lincoln, he is the most photoshopped person in history. He is the most even the dark-skinned nigga is not even real. That's somebody else. Like real shit. That's somebody else. Like when you really dig into who that person is, he's part of the Confederacy. But that's not who people really think.
You making it seem like the government never even existed the way it did at that time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you telling me like if this dude never existed, then who the fuck was he?
He was nobody.
Who was this person that played Abraham Lincoln that freed the slaves?
An actor.
He was that whole story is a play. It's not real. Niggas wasn't slaves.
Mm-hmm.
I could rock with that. All we need is the evidence, though. You know what I'm saying? The evidence that we've been pulling is that everybody was dark.
We are the evidence. The evidence is when we do our census records, ain't nobody find a slave in their family tree. So what slaves did he free? It wasn't us.
I'm saying that's like I feel like people like Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King, all these people was given to white people as heroes, like characters that they can aspire to be like. And George Washington, these are all like fictional movie Hollywood characters, but before it was Hollywood, it was the circus, and right after the circus, it was vaudeville. Vaudeville is where a lot of these beginning of Hollywood began.
I don't know if you guys remember, man. I don't know if Swarthy was there. I think Los, it was your live. Me, Rashad was on there, and a lady came in, and she was saying that how we were lied to, and she showed a chest, right? And she opened up a safe, and she said we were rich. She grabbed like pearls and jewelry, and she was showing it to us. Do you remember this? Mm-hmm. Right. So that was one compelling story that I was like, yeah, we something happened in the 18th. That shit blew my mind because I was like, yo, some crazy shit happened to where everything just got turned upside down.
Our ancestors sold us out for money and trinkets. I'll just be real. I feel how deep I done dug. I really feel like as much as we love our elders and we don't try to disrespect, I feel like a nice portion of them sold us out for trinkets and out of fear, like Swarthy said earlier. This is why a lot of our elders and people in our family so hell-bent about us getting a good education and listen to them and obey and da-da-da-da-da. You be like, God damn. That's
that indoctrination.
So, and if I'm that indoctrinated, I'm scary enough that I sell you to the government. And a lot of Indian mothers sold their children to the government. That's how niggas ended up in a boarding school in the first place. So No different than a mama throwing the baby inside the dumpster or going to the orphanage and dropping the baby off and running and shit. Like a lot of
And
people are weird.
and we got proof that America was indeed the promised land or the great Eden. They made it seem super small too. Like in the Middle East, they shrunk it down. They say, okay, we'll put it over there in the Middle East. And everybody got to remember, it was in 1920 or something that the Middle East was coined the name Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy, man. Like they just did a number on us. Like all the fruits and vegetables coming from America, the climate here being warm, the Caribbean, you know what I'm saying? Everything. It just proved the stars, especially. That's a checkmate. That's a game
Nah,
over right there.
they said they brought rice over here from Africa and they here.
Now we
And they
got wild rice
cornrows.
here. That's another thing. If we didn't have wild rice, they
They
would have
said they
had
brought
us.
rice
But
and they cornrows.
they fucking lying. We had rice here. We have grains. All types of grains comes out of America.
I
Barley.
already
We
know.
got wheat. We got
This is
corn.
still the capital of the grains. This is where all the grains come from. Africa don't grow no wheat.
Right. And the way how America is formed, like all the way from the Arctic Circle to Antarctica, it's the only continent in the world that does that.
Yep.
The only landmass that does that.
Yep. And we pretty much the only landmass that got hot and cold climates blended.
Exactly.
So,
It can only come from here. That's the thing. Once you think about things like this, it can only come from here. Even the size of the Americas is bigger than Africa.
yeah, that shit bigger than Europe too. Like when you listen to Europe's, like I've been into lives listening to Black Britons and other Europes before. These niggas be like, it takes me 15 minutes to go from Britain to France. I'm like, damn, nigga, 15 minutes is from.
Oh yeah, I remember that guy. Yeah, I threw his video.
15 minutes.
That shit went viral.
Yeah, that's right around the corner for them.
Yeah, that shit crazy. And then
Yeah.
shit so
Texas
close.
is down there bigger than the whole Europe.
And that shit say like 10 hours to get out of Texas alone, I heard. Like,
The dude broke it down too. He broke it down nice. He was like, in the UK, back where I'm from.
I was like, yeah, that shit crazy. And they be like, it's 20 minutes there. And then some person be like, shit, from like France to Africa is like 25, 30 minutes. Like, it ain't even far like people think it is. I'm like, damn. 30.
It's right across the little, it's like a bay. They got like a little sea or a type of bay. It's small, it ain't even that big.
And then Germany.
That's why.
And then Germany is right there by France. Like, that shit ain't far either. You be like, damn, this shit is like.
Mhm.
So we know that no type of biblical talk, like even when you talk about Sephardic Jews and Hebrews being in the Iberian Peninsula and shit, we know that shit don't even fit over there. It's too damn small. Like, you even like, man, that shit too small.
Hey, and what's interesting, Los, is I saw you reading like a few receipts. Actually, you have a lot of receipts on it, where it talks about the Moors and the Jews rock together, and it makes sense because the Moors more focused on the worldly laws, and then you have the Israelites more focused on, the Bible laws. So it made sense.
Yeah, well, they the same people. The Moors are Sephardic Jews. What happened is that the Sephardic Jews that became slaves to the Arab invasion, they became Muslim, which thus makes them Moors, because another definition of a Moor is a dark-skinned Muslim person. So now you taking this dark-skinned person, now you making a Muslim, now you turn them into a Moor, because inside the books, a lot of people think Mordano Morisco means Moor, but inside the Jewish archives, and the Jewish dictionaries that I got, a Morisco is a Sephardic Jew that turns Christian, and a Mordano is a Sephardic Jew that turns Muslim, which creates conversos as new Christians and Moors as Muslims. So they the same people.
That's true. I did read that.
It's just a label that
Yeah, that's another thing. The Moors think, for some reason, these Moors think that, okay, the Indians got down as Christians, but they didn't have to get down as Islam. Like, boy, you had to get down under the sword for Islam too.
hell yeah.
People get mad at the Moors because they'd be like, "Oh, they sold us out." But I mean, I think some shit was happening back then that people just cannot explain. You know what I'm saying? The pressure was on. People was going over to the side that was winning and saying, "All right, let me cut a deal."
So, I mean, yeah, but because of the type of so-called Moors that on my background, I like to call them Psudeo-Moors, right? These niggas with these Turkish hats, which is some Caucasian shit. But these Pseudo-Moors have been teaching false history, and it confuses people. So the colonizer Moors that people think are dirty Moors, they are Turks, um, real Caucasians like Armenians, Georgians, some Persians and shit like that, like Habibi that's at your smoke shop and all them niggas, and even Little Hat Ashkenaz people is also part of this so-called community. These are your bad so-called Moors. Your Negro Moors, which is the real ones, the people of Mauritania, Berber, Tuareg, Sephardic Judascent, they have always been on the right side of history. They have always fought alongside American Indians. And I show people plenty American Indian flags, which shows the brotherhood between the real so-called Moors. This is how they ended up in South Carolina in the first place. So, but because of these pseudo Moors on the background, niggas have been learning Turk history.
Exactly. And you'll ask them niggas about this flag that I got on the screen, and they don't know what this is.
Nah, hell nah. They don't know none of that shit. That shit be crazy. Like real Moors is not even really Islamic like that. Still to this day, they still do their own culture and got their own language. Like real Moors, Mauritanian niggas.
And this symbol, that little symbol that's on the screen on the flags, that is a free energy symbol. That's also one of the Solomon keys as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Which leads back to Sephardic Jew, Solomon.
So
Right.
that show advanced mathematics and high science in ancient times.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then that's the same symbol of the Arawakan Indians, especially out there in Puerto Rico.
Exactly. This same symbol is on the Cahokia mounds too.
Yep. Same symbol on Cahokia Mounds. The Georgia Mounds with the hand and the eye in the middle. Mm-hmm. So, this is why, like, so a lot of folks inside the Indian community get mad at me, but, I stand 10 toes down when, real Moors, right? They are from America. Their whole culture come from it. But real Moors, you got to understand, are Berbers, Tuaregs, and Mauritanians. And they do descend from America because when you look up the definition, they say that they're native. Let's not forget what native mean. The same way that we be like, Native American, y'all niggas was just born here, right? So these niggas was just born in there. Originally, they from America, but they made their way through Ireland, down the
Niggas
Iberia,
think the Know
Yeah, they
Nothing
left
Party.
and then came back. Yeah, that's true.
Facts.
they,
Niggas think the Know Nothing Party was just full of white tea people.
man, look, what?
The Know Nothing Party had more than just white tea people in there. It was some Africans in there too.
Yeah. So, and that's what it is. And then the crazy thing is when you research Berbers, Tuaregs, and Mauritanians, I got plenty books. I got this one French book that talks about the Berbers, right? It's called Les Berbères. Um, Inside this book, it tell you that a lot of Berbers carry American Indian tribe names, and they start comparing all the American Indian tribe names that Berber nations carry. And I'm like, okay, so these niggas not from America. How the fuck do they get these damn Algonquin names? Oh, and then they get to the language. They're like, oh yeah, these niggas got some language connections with Arawakans and Caribs and shit. I'm like, okay, so these niggas not from America, but they got language connections. Motherfucker be getting mad. But I'm like, we tell people to read old books and books written by other countries and people. So this French book is, and this ain't no Queen Moo or no Atlantis book. This is some real archaeological philology, which is the study of language books. And I'm like, okay, well shit, boom. Them niggas, they come from here. They come from South America and the Yucatan. They descend from the Yushi Mayans or the Children of the Sun. So that shit crazy.
Yeah, and in the same way how they made us all black, the Moors got interned in that too.
Mm-hmm. Ah, yeah. Some Moors, some Moors are called freedmen too. Not freed with a D, but freemen, because the Amazigh, which is what that symbol is back there on Swarthy, it comes from the Amazigh tribe of the Mauritanians. They are called freemen. So just think about it. So what if, because in the 1600s and 1700s, when they be talking about African slaves, the only place that was called Africa was the Iberian Peninsula and Afrique people, right? Who are these people? Mauritanians, Berbers, Tuaregs. What if these folks came over here and the tribe name translates to freeman, and you know that white folks and other people can't pronounce certain things, so shit, niggas was like, we just gonna call them freemans. And these people did fight with the American Indian. They do got treaties with the Confederates. They got the Berber treaties. They got the Berber piracy treaties with the Confederates and all this type of shit. So I be sitting here like, bro, I don't see how folks fight against this information. I just
I
really
mean,
like,
it's like like when you go into a jacuzzi, it's hot, and then you have to settle in and like relax. That's what it's like at first because it's gonna be a shock. It's gonna be crazy.
it is. Because if there's Sephardic Jew connections or what people call Israelite or Proto-Hebrew or Paleo-Hebrew connections, then there has to be so-called Berber, Tuareg, Mauritanian, Mer connections, which comes all the way back since they're the same people. A lot of these people are the same people that come from America. They just left a long time ago. And some people changed their names. There's African tribes that carry American Indian names, like the Moshe African tribe. There's a Moshe African tribe. But Moshe comes from South America with the Moshe South American tribe, right? The word Shaka, that people like to say Shaka Zulu, but Shaka is American Indian word because we got Shaka Khan, right? American Indian, right? So how is some of these so-called African tribes and nations they try to tell us in history carry American Indian fucking names when you break the shit down? Niggas name Kunta Kinte, and that's Choctaw for Whistling Beaver. You be like, hold on, bro, what the fuck? Think about it. They tell you without telling you, but you haven't dug it in the book, so it's gonna fly over your head a lot.
It's crazy. But I want to thank you for letting me up, and peace to you, Swarthy, and continue the work.
Ain't no problem. You too, man. I appreciate you for tuning in. I'm gonna wrap it up. The paper plane over with.
Yeah, I'm about to go and drop
All
down
right,
as well.
peace.
Yeah, thanks for letting me rock. Yeah.
No
But
problem,
yeah,
man.
for all these people that don't what I'm saying, do their genealogy and study and really look into their own selves, but be on these panels trying to tell people history and arguing and cussing people out at 6 in the morning, arguing about who American and who African. Start with yourself, do your genealogy, and then come back and argue. But argue about your family genealogy. Don't argue about nobody else's. All that
King.
we stuff. We not from France, nigga. Stop that we shit.
I'm from Georgia. For real. Man, facts. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Shout out to the panel. Y'all know it's always love. I appreciate y'all for coming up, rocking out with me all the time. Man, and we gonna continue digging into this book, Princess and the Prophet and everything like that. It gets deep. It talks about black masonry and Shriners creating a lot of this so-called black Islamic narrative around America type shit. So with that being said, I'll see y'all later for part 2 sometime this week. Don't stay up too night. Enjoy y'all day. Thank y'all for the likes, the love, the gifts. Shout out to the subscribers and shout out to those who donated to the Cash App for the information. I really do appreciate it. Y'all already know y'all the great MVPs. I'ma holler at y'all later. Peace.